Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another amazing weekend of esports action in the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nordwing Gaming. My name is Dr. Sid. You can say it like James Bond, Dr. Sid. And I'm here with two amazing guys, Tendo and Snare, and we are about to give you some amazing action from FIFA 21. Guys, it's been a whole week. I'm so happy to see you guys again. Snare, how was your week?
My week was good. I had a good time. I was kind of waiting for this one to happen again because I was really pumped up after the last outing that we had. So I'm hoping that we get that much excitement again today.
Dendo, how was your week?
It's been a busy week, but it's been a good week, a lot of growth, a lot of learning, and, ready to watch some FIFA, ready to make it happen. And yeah, man, I'm excited for today's cast.
Yeah, I am super excited as well. And we are looking forward to the amazing action. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the prize pool for Season 3. It is $17,500. That is the prize pool, with $15,000 going to PUBG Mobile and $2,500 going to the winners of the FIFA competition. Let's also take a look at the standings of the FIFA tournament and what it looks like right now. Snare, do you want to talk us through this one?
So looking at what it looks like right now, must assume off the back of the match I was mentioning earlier, with a decisive performance, put himself at number 1 very clearly, being trailed by some of the Goliath boys in the Beast and Unfazed. And where it gets really interesting, though, is the new blood in the scene. Though Darth Mayhem has found himself losing 3 games and is now at the bottom of the table, Young Savage and Bobo find themselves in positions where they could potentially still sneak their way into the war, depending on performances over the next couple of weeks. So it's very predictable. It's still exciting, still could be shaken up in the very middle of the pack.
We're definitely looking for things to get shaken up today, and let's find out who are 2 players who are going to be going at it today. Then they'll tell us about Young Savage and Bobo Beast.
Well, obviously, Young Savage, up and coming, a FIFA star in South Africa. So this is going to be a big game for him to prove himself against Bobo, who's also in his own sort an up and coming FIFA star. So this is going to be a bit of a clash of, the lower table, if you know what I mean. So we're going to see a lot of action here. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of game plan and a lot of strategy. I'm excited to see exactly how Savage is going to approach this. And yeah, man, I think Bobo also has a really good chance in this one, so I can't really call a winner for this game just yet.
Wow. Yes, and there you have it. Dendo can't call a winner for today's game, but we are guaranteed to see a lot of action. I am super excited, hella pumped, because when these 2 players get on the pitch, always a lot of action. Snare, today from these 2 guys, what are we expecting in terms of gameplay? Who's going to come out firing and ready to win from the get-go?
So if we just think about like the recent outings from both players, Bobo is the only player, him as well as Moby, to have found a draw, but he played that draw very cleanly, right? He started adapting his defense, didn't attack all that much, although he pressed the ball very high forward. He was very reluctant to give up possession, so that led to kind of fewer shots on goal. Erstwhile, Young Savage is kind of playing the opposite, right? He tries to overload his attack and get as many goals forward as humanly possible. It does kind of mean that he has a propensity to be a little bit leaky at the back, and sometimes his discipline can get the better of him if he's being counter-attacked in particular. So I think we're not going to see a deviation from that coming into this one, given how successful it was for both players. I mean, everybody would have expected Moby to beat him clear and clear. The fact that he was able to keep it a draw, I don't think he should change up his attack. Erstwhile, Young Savage beat another young up-and-comer using his over-aggressive and offensive style. So stick to what you're doing, stick to what you're good at, and make it a good contest, I think.
Well, it is time for the tables to be shaken up today. I hope that we can see some movement, not draws, I just really can't wait for the action to start. We are waiting for the players to get set, but once we do, we will see all the action in the FIFA 21 tournament of the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. My name is Dr. Sid, here with Tendo and Snare. But at this point, I like to do what I always do every week, which is remind you guys that if you are not following Northern Gaming on all our social media platforms, you need to do so now, because you are definitely missing out on a lot of action, news, and updates. The game has started. Let me leave you with the guys to walk you through.
Thank you, Dr. Sid. And we get into the game. Tendo, the last time we were out here, it was a shellacking in one direction. I doubt we're going to see that again today. But, you know, one thing we're going to see is the hero of that game. Neymar, definitely going to be the pickup for both sides.
Yeah, we know Neymar's been a very, very formidable player up in the striking force for a lot of these players playing in this league. And there's a little bit of feeling out that's happening here in the middle so far. Just an up and down, just trying to check how everybody's playing. Bit of a through ball interception there coming in. But for the most part, the game's starting off quite slowly, actually.
I think this probably feeds into Bobo's kind of playstyle, right? The fact that it's this slow and deliberate. Young Savage clearly has been working on not allowing himself to be as open for counterattacks, but a bit slower on the build-up. I think, though, the way that it's being set up right now does mean more tension building up for both players, and tension tends to favor the person who's a bit more clinical. But now, first opening big attack gets snuffed out. Yet again, Bobo, confidence on the defense, keeps it clear for now.
Yeah, and defense is going to be a big one, I think, today, you know, especially with how strong Savage can be on the attack. So Bobo's going to have to be really good with his defense, but his attack's looking pretty good as well. He's creating a couple of chances in terms of, you know, moving the ball around, trying to open the space of the defenders. And he's doing a lot of dribbling, holding onto this ball, and we'll see how he does. Does pass it to Neymar. Neymar loses the ball, stumbles it there. Now he's going to turn it over onto Savage's attack.
This is very dangerous. Neymar on the other side for Young Savage running in. Unfortunately, a bit too heavy on the dribble forward, so it will fall directly into the path of the goalkeeper. Kind of interesting, saw that attack building up. The fact that he kept recycling it back towards Vieira as much as he did. Generally, we've seen when Bobo's playing with Vieira, he lies him very deep, but pushing him a bit higher up might signal that he wants to get a win this time around. Not going to be content with a draw.
Now playing it to Atal. Atal, a very, very, very big influence so far in the Umzansi Esports League for a lot of these players in terms of attacking prowess, and we all know why. Once Atal's on that ball, he's very, very dangerous. But now it's going to be Savage on the attack here, passing it. Ronaldo, Messi, link up play here, passing it down the wing, trying to work it in. Some good moves coming in here from Savage, but the defense of Bobo stops him right in his tracks.
From Season 2 to Season 3, the thing I've been most impressed with Bobo is the improvement in his defense. Man has become a lot more clinical, keeping these balls out, keeping the score sheet low. Might still be in danger here, though, as the ball back in possession. Savage running with Atal, looking for Neymar on the far side. Joshua Kimmich, he's alone, in on goal. Joshua Kimmich might not be a striker, but you would not think so with the way he curls that into the top corner. Beautiful goal coming in from the German. 1-0 right now for our Young Savage.
Savage indeed with that shot. And now Bobo has to recover. He has to get his bearings back after a pretty slow start to the game so far. That goal comes out of nowhere almost. Some good passing play obviously from Savage. So now Bobo's going to try to work things out. He's got Atal in the front. Atal has to push it back. Too many defenders in front of him. So Bobo trying to open up space, but space is closed down. Look how well the defense is structured here. The formation working in the favor of Savage.
It's very well structured for now, but no one giving up just yet. Bobo will still be intent on trying to break this down as much as possible. Mbappe looking for a kill in the box, but get it out on the defense. Young Savage with Trent Alexander-Arnold ensures that this side of the goal stays clear, and now in on a counter attack. He could be able to find himself through on goal here. The interplay between Ronaldo and Neymar, good enough for now to buy some space. Will it be enough to get them a goal? Atal now, he's the one on the ball, but I think Bobo might be back in. The shape is good. I don't think it's going to be very easy to get through here, Tender.
Yeah, it's not going to be very easy to get through, and that's exactly what happens. But then he loses the ball, and it's a through ball in, and it's a shot! And Savage puts 2 on the board. All of a sudden, Ronaldo in that space, there's no ways he doesn't score that one. So now Bobo has to chase 2 goals, has to stabilize. And I was about to comment on how impressive, you know, the passing play is on Young Savage right now. I mean, he sees almost every pass, you know, he knows exactly where his players are going to be at the right time, in the right place. The turn here is crazy from Matau, so he's got some space. He's going to take the shot. He passes it back to somebody in the middle, but the defender's on the line to clear it. Oh my goodness, that was insane.
Oh my goodness. The additional time that he took to get Joshua Kimmich back in possession gives time towards the defender to block the obvious shot. Would have been a goal had he gone in for it, I think, directly with the towel. Doesn't though, still in the lead 2-0, but will be forced to deal with the corner kick of his own. And definitely, like you're mentioning, the passing play from Young Savage has been impeccable. And we might see a goal here. Shot through on goal, doesn't actually get in. Not over just yet. Vieira cannot find the towel, however. And with the dispossession, Young Savage will do everything he can to get this as far away from the net as humanly possible.
Savage on the attack once again. Try and find the passes. The middle field is trying to hold up the line there, hoping to get interception, but the interception isn't going to be good because now he's in. He takes a shot as well. Keeper's there. The dive is good. Opponent's taking quick as well. It's a cross in. The keeper comes over his line to get it, but it bounces right back to a player on Savage's team. So Bobo now has to scramble the defense to get ready here to rebound. Looking good so far from the defense to hold this one off.
The danger's not over just yet. He gets a pass through. This time, a little bit more proactive defense from Bobo. But Young Savage might have been time labbing with unfazed because I'm seeing shades of the former champion here from him, especially with how aggressive he's being with chasing the ball down the moment he loses possession and not losing any of his attacking shape. I mean, we were talking about it beforehand, right? That the thing he's been struggling with up until this point has been dealing with counterattacks. However, if you're always in possession and you never give the opponent the time to even build up a counterattack, then you're good, and you're good. You just keep the game going. Always feel like you're advancing the ball rather than playing statically or defensively.
Yeah, it's just a bit difficult though, you know, to ask for that kind of retention of the ball, to always have it on, especially when you're up against the likes of Savage. Once he gets that ball, he'll try and move it upfield. But yeah, Bobo does get it. Finds a beautiful pass down the line here, through ball, looks clean. Has the opportunity for the cross and it's beautiful, but the keeper stops it. Whew, that was I thought that was going in, honestly, Snare. That was so, well timed and everything, and yeah, keeper just on his mark, ready for it.
Bobo himself was sure his goal is going in, and you see he sort of loses his composure a little bit afterwards. He got himself a set piece, but he tried to just drive the ball through to try and find another shot. Oh man, what an opportunity. And now Bobo still will be 2-0 down. The opportunity to try come and claw one back just slips away from his fingers, and this might become 3 because Young Savage is on goal, but there's a lot of defenders back, and finally the interception is going to be good from Bobo.
Interception good, run is good as well. He goes for the chip pass. It's a shot. Woo! Woo! I don't know how you missed that one. It looked like it was going in.
I was certain I was in. Oh,
Yo.
man, that's so sad. That's so sad.
That's very sad. So far, the passes and the crosses, you know, down that wing on the side of Bobo have been superb. It's just, you know, the finishing is just lacking. And Savage now on the attack. Wonder what he's going to do with this.
It sometimes feels a little bit like Bobo is rushing himself. He's definitely feeling the pressure of being 2 goals behind and not taking as much time as he actually has. And now we'll have another opportunity. In on goal. So I think this is offside. The flag not raised, so he's with Atal. Atal dribbles past the keeper, but he can't get the clean dribble through. So Neuer touches the ball lightly, able to scramble back onto it. Feels bad, and yet again, like you mentioned, the passes and the through balls onto the flank, impeccable. But the finishing, no matter what he tries, somehow it's still staying clean sheet for Young Savage.
Is it the finishing or is it the Neuer effect at this point? Because the defense on Savage's side hasn't actually been that good so far compared to looking at Bobo. I just think the chances that Savage has created has obviously led to goals, but I'd say Neuer's been a big key to the fact that, you know, it's still no on the side of Bobo, but Savage now trying to make it 3, goes for the crazy cross down.
Oh my god. Oof. So everybody's trying to go for this chip across goal into the really powerful shot. Doesn't seem to be working out. It's thus far the meta has primarily been like the short pass into holding up the ball and then waiting for the forward run. Seems like people are trying to change it up, but the effectiveness might leave something to be desired. Maybe the changes aren't ready just yet, but Bobo still looking for his first goal in the box. Still keeps possession somehow, but eventually gets this because it feels bad.
Yeah, just running into a sea of defenders there. Nothing much you can do there. The move there was clean from Savage. Savage now on the attack, takes a shot and misses.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
What is happening, Tendo?
It's just the back and forth of just shots being missed all of a sudden. After, you know, the first 2 goals came in, it seemed as if Savage, you know, had everything unlocked in terms of his finishing, but now maybe he's buckling a little bit, but he's got another opportunity, but the defense is there.
Also stressing me out because he's losing his composure a little bit on the defense, not being as clean with how he's recycling the ball back into midfield. Now though, fortunately nothing happens, so he will be able to try go for a counter attack. Dribbles himself out. This is gonna be a throw-in. That's another wasted opportunity, and it really does feel like nerves might be getting the better of Bobo. I think though, on the bright side for him is the fact that there haven't been additional goals coming in from Young Savage. 2-0 is a beatable deficit. You can deal with this. More than that is a bit tricky, but so far in really dangerous territory just yet.
Yeah, definitely. I think 2-0 is fine. You know, it's not like 15 whatever. So he definitely still has the opportunity to come back from this one. As the throw-in comes in, he turns over the ball back into his possession as well. But the defense on Savage's side is just too strong for him at this point. They cut that one and snuff it out. So now Savage on that counter-attack, we know he's dangerous. The defense on Bobo is trying to pull back. He's trying to press this player to get the ball. So trying to just open up the pitch right now, trying to find some space, Savage. But I think Bobo's is reading the game a little bit better now, and it knows exactly how to close him down. But I say that, and that ball goes through, but not yet, as the defender's in the right place at the right time.
That's exactly what you mentioned. Bobo able to read the game a lot better and gets in on the ball, prevents the play. He read exactly what Young Savage was intending. Now, potentially in on the counter. Everything's looked good for him defensive field. Just here in the final third where he really tends to struggle. Feels like sometimes it takes too many additional touches on the ball. This time the additional touch is going to be good with the dribble. Doesn't find the space for the pass though. Still in on the ball and forces out a... What? What? Okay, referee.
I also thought it was going to be a corner and maybe an opportunity for Bobo to capitalize, but unfortunately the game didn't decide on that. And Savage now has the opportunity to capitalize off this, and he's going to try to work the defense once again with these passes. Defense he knows what he's doing now, I think, to counter, you know, Savage, Bobo. So I think now it's just about finishing those goals, you know, up at the other end of the field. And let's hope he comes in the second leg with a little bit more composure and he'll be able to finish those. But maybe he can still snuff out one here. There's still 5 minutes.
Still a slight sliver of opportunity. The dying moments of the game. Yet again, dribble from out of possession. So more time. At this point, if you are Young Savage, you just want to game manage this to victory. The last thing you want is to give away an errant goal in the dying moments of the game. A third would be nice, but I don't think you want to take any unnecessary risks making it happen. On the bright side for him, he's surely feeling that, you know what, Bobo hasn't demonstrated that he's that threatening on the attack. So they've just played this slowly, and now he's driving this very far up. Bobo will of course be back on this, but the referee sees this as a corner kick. Okay, this is interesting. Tendo, is the third goal coming?
Maybe it is, but it doesn't seem like it, as the brick wall is there to stop it, and Bobo's on the counter, but the defense is there, it's ready. There's only a minute left of additional time, and there's not much for Bobo left in this game. So the game management on the side of Savage has worked out just well here, and he's getting an attack on top of that. So maybe he's going to find a third here, passes it back in. Is he going to be able to get the shot in? But the defense is ready. It's there. It's a brick wall. It's a stone. He ain't getting past that one, man. It's going to end 2-0.
Wow. 2-0 lead for Young Savage. The Goliath, the talent, you know, the prospect out here with the victory. I really thought that Bobo was going to be able to pull one goal back. He must be so frustrated. How many opportunities were there in that game? I mean, if we just had to forget about the scoreline and just go on the balance of play after the second goal, it really did seem like Bobo was in control, had most of the possession, had most of the shots on target, had most of the opportunities, but Young Savage, this is the adage in FIFA. It doesn't matter how many opportunities you get. It's a matter of which one you take and which one you succeed in getting.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not unable to put those points up on the board, you're just gonna end up, playing this beautiful game, impressing everybody with your play and your defending and whatnot. But if you're unable to capitalize on the goals, someone's gonna, get a good opportunity, much like Savage, and just capitalize and pull ahead. So 2-0, it's not too bad. He can definitely bring this one back in the second leg, I feel. And we'll just have to wait and see.
What do you think he needs to change up on the side of Bobo Beast, right? Because we did see that in terms of his own actual play, he's looked really good. And in many respects, I do think that Young Savage didn't necessarily give us his best showing either, but Bobo Beast still struggled to put him to bed. So if you're him right now, what are you saying to yourself? What are you changing? What adjustments are you making going into the second leg?
Look, I mean, he didn't score, but I think he should have the confidence knowing that he can score. And I think he needs to, tighten down on that attack and try to look for a few, I want to say, easier opportunities, because, he gets into the box, he starts to dribble, which is perfectly fine. We've seen that work a lot for a lot of players, dribbling in the box and then taking the shot. But the problem is Savage is, I think, tailored, and he's, ready for that kind of those dribbles and that attack, and his defense is just ready for that. So maybe he needs to be a little bit more riskier with Savage now. Maybe take a few more shots just outside the box, just in the box as soon as he gets the touch on, instead of trying to go past all these defenders and get past the keeper, especially if Neuer's there. I mean, Neuer is going to be ready for those.
Yeah, in many respects, it does kind of feel like he's the one that's outplaying himself, right? You even touched on it in terms of the game itself, that Young Savage's actual defense wasn't the greatest that we've seen from him. And despite getting past the defense so many times, looking clean in on goal, sometimes it'd be a little bit of an extra touch from Bobo, a little bit of a too strong a shot. Maybe he passes where he's not really supposed to. Either way, the nerves might have gotten to him. Let's see if he's calmed down. Game 2 underway. Bobo Beast, Young Savage. Only 2 goals in this Tendo. Can Bobo make the comeback?
Comeback would be great for him. I think he needs it. The points are starting to slip away, and I mean, we're not that deep into the season just yet. Umzansi Esports League, hosted by Nodun Gaming, so there's still time to recover, obviously, but it's good to get as many points as you can along the way, and it's good to defeat these kind of people to build that confidence when you have to go up against the more veterans of the esport here. So we'll see how well things go for Bobo in the second leg.
The first goal might be coming in quickly. Ooh, just goes wide. Earns a goal kick. Something that you're actually touching on there, how deep we are. After these proceedings, we are going to be just over halfway. So this is the time that you need to start putting yourself out, getting those necessary points for the playoffs. Not getting himself into 3-goal territory. Very, very happy about this. And Bobo, if he continues the same form that we saw after the second goal in leg number 1, then I don't doubt that he'll be able to at least 1 goal, and I don't think he concedes one either. But 1 goal is not going to be good enough, and I think he'll be having a draw 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't be happy with that. Hey, but you got to take your points as they come, man, so we'll have to wait and see. I mean, he still has the right to win this one. He definitely can score 3 goals, but I mean, we need to see a goal almost in this instant for that to happen, and maybe that's exactly what's going to happen. And it's a beautiful curler from Neymar. Bobo on the board now, and I think this comeback is happening. I mean, look, you said it that towards that end of that first leg, that he's really the one in control of this game, and maybe that's exactly what's happening. I think maybe Savage just is falling off, got a little bit too comfortable, so he needs to bring this one back now.
And it's exactly like you mentioned, the fact that Bobo, one of the adjustments he needs to make is being a bit more risky on the shot, not waiting for the perfect chance, but taking any chance that avails itself. And in that case, takes the shot, Neymar gets a beautiful goal. And that's not the kind of goal that just puts you back on the board, right? That kind of goal gets your blood pumping. Now you are feeling yourself. You're like, man, if I can score a goal like that, I can score a goal from anywhere. Let's go, Bobo. Might actually be able to make this comeback. But that's also the kind of goal that might have woken up Young Savage to reinvigorate him to secure this lead. So we'll see how they perform. The ball turned over yet again in midfield back onto Bobo.
Yeah, and I think the middle field play from Bobo, he's starting to read it quite well on the side of Young Savage, and that cross goes. Wait, is that a penalty?
Is that a penalty?
It is a penalty.
Okay, it's Bruno Fernandes on a penalty. We know what's gonna happen. No, okay. Whew, Bobo. Bobo.
We have a game now.
Okay.
Eh?
We have a game now, Tendo. We have a game now.
Damn, I didn't think that was going to be a penalty, but I mean, yeah, defender was tackled. The attacker was tackled from behind by one of the defenders, so obviously that's going to lead to a penalty. And I mean, that cross was crazy as well. I didn't think that was going through. So now we're sitting 2-2 on the aggregate score. Savage probably shaking in his boots right now. Needs to tighten things up. Needs to find something in the beginning of this first half of the second leg.
Definitely, like you mentioned, should be shaking because in all areas of the pitch, except in attack in the first leg, he was behind Bobo. So we'll see now if he can utilize that attacking strength. But Bobo, yet again, very strong on the defense. And with that interception, we already see Mendy here trying to move up on the flank. He supplied the cross that you were talking about just now, and he gets the ball yet again. Mendy deep into the box. Can he find a target? Goes for another cross, but Trent was there with the block. Doesn't manage to get the dispossession though. The play is still on for Bobo, looking for a goal. Beautiful ball into Neymar. Neymar back into Atal. Atal, can he find the turn? Not just yet, being blocked off by Davies. Davies somehow keeps Bobo from going into the lead, Tendo.
Just enough to keep him from going into the lead. Savage needs to find something. He hasn't been able to make any of those passes we saw him making in that first half of that first leg. So far, Bobo's able to read things well and he's closing things down, but now there's maybe an opportunity here. Perfect timing, right place for Bobo. And now it's his counter-attack. Now he can put some more points on the board here if he plays this one well. He does manage to find Neymar.
That Neymar dribble after being threatened with the dispossession was absolutely magnificent. Allows him to keep this aggressive play forward. Young Savage queuing up the pause very early on. Might actually just need a breath. I'm not sure if he's going to change the formation as well, but definitely feeling that things cannot continue like this. Bamba in possession now, looking for a way through. Doesn't get in on goal. This time around, Bobo Beast not going to be waiting for additional pass. He's good. The shot, it goes in. The fact is he's doing the threatening, and someone might criticize him and say, well, a more clinical player would be able to score exactly in the right situation every single time, but for Bobo, it's been good enough for him thus far.
Yeah, great interception. Came back to make this attacking play. He does end up losing it, so Savage wakes up a little bit with the defense here, and he finds a beautiful through ball from the back here. He's going to be able to run it down with Mbappe. Mbappe finds nobody besides the defender. So now the turnover is going to be good for Bobo. Bobo, dangerous on these attacks now. Players are starting to open up space. If you check down on that wing, yeah, he's going to be able to get this pass maybe. Just not yet. He's going to have to play back inside. So Bobo trying to open things up. Savage, I think, has closed things down a little bit better now. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but he's in for this attack. He has the opportunity to maybe get a pass in here. He does find the pass. Is he going to take the shot just yet? Not yet. The passes are going everywhere, but it's a through ball of death here. And the keeper's there to save it.
Wow. The keeper's on the ball, sends it wide. I'm not sure if this has been a wild game, so I can't tell you if it's a corner kick or a goal kick, but nonetheless, doesn't go into the back of the net. How many touches on the ball did he have there in the box? It really looked like it was inevitable that it was going to get through. Somehow, Young Savage, you just spoke about it. He's up. He has awoken. He's no longer being complacent. He's not resting on his laurels. Here in the back, he is realized that Bobo Beast has found his attack, so you can no longer rely on the mistakes in the attack. You have to actively defend. And it's a corner kick though, Tendo. Danger's not over.
Danger's not over. And I wonder how he's going to take these corners. So far, the corners that have been taken from both sides haven't been too successful. So he's going to go for the short pass back out into the open. I wonder if there's somebody that's going to be cheeky making a run here that he'll be able to find. And there's that run, but not the pass just yet. It's a bunch of dribbling, but the dribbling is good. He's almost past the defender, but the defender has to hold things down. And he kicks it out for the half. Yo, that was a stressful end there for Savage. And it's a good thing he wasn't able to concede a goal there.
That really could have turned into anything. In that scramble, I really thought Bruno Fernandes was going to be able to either find the shot or the pass. But believing in Davies and sticking on his man, able to crowd him out, get the ball out for the halftime whistle. Now it's really anything to play for. The final 45 minutes. This is going to be it. There's no more opportunities against each other. The dying moments of the second leg. What do you do? Bobo will really want to make this comeback and really want to avoid drawing. And Young Savage, if he finds himself a win here, he actually goes top 4 and definitely does not want to squander that opportunity. But will he be able to make it happen? A win is what it needs. A draw is not enough. And the attack will peter out. Goes out for a corner kick.
Savage also plays a short corner here, and he's trying to look for a pass, and he's moving it, trying to open up the defense. The defense is solid though, and it doesn't seem like he's given much room to work with here, so he's just going to keep passing the ball to try open, but I say that, and it's a beautiful passing play. Neymar gets the ball back in the center of the box. So Savage is awake. Savage wants to play. Savage wants that win. He is that he will be top 4 if he wins this one. So now Bobo needs to buckle up and try find another goal to bring things back to a draw.
My goodness, Young Savage. He's like, well, I might not have been on the ball for these attacks in quite a while in this way, but once I'm in the box, in that position, there's no way I'm going to miss. Gets a goal. Does now draw. This is a dangerous situation here. 23 yards out. Anything could happen. What's he going to do? Bruno Fernandes. Is he going to break hearts here? Young Savage definitely would hate to concede a goal so soon after scoring one, but this is normally when it's the most dangerous time for a goal to go the opposite direction. And will it go in? No, it doesn't. Kept out by the post and Manuel Neuer working together. 12 players on the pitch for Young Savage. They somehow keep the ball out.
And Savage now on the counter. If he gets a goal here, it'll be amazing, but he doesn't find it. It's squandered. Bobo needs to recover. Beautiful free kick he did take. Unfortunate that it didn't go in. He needs to find something now if he wants to bring this one back level. He can't keep losing the ball. Oh, beautiful tackle though.
Oh my God. Bobo, the presence of mind. If he doesn't go for that tackle there with Kyle Walker, Young Savage is complete on space with Mbappe was running forward as well. I'm pretty sure we see another goal, but the presence of mind, yeah, it's a very risky tackle, but saves the game, keeps it still in reachable distance. Doesn't necessarily, though, defend him completely against this goal because Young Savage still wants to come forward, but as the shape of Bobo making that approach a bit more difficult. But now here comes the run. Atal, can he get past the wall defender? Yes, he can! With the step over and the shot, lashes it into the 4-2. He's up right now. Young Savage, he's back, baby.
He's back indeed, and the composure on Young Savage is just superb, honestly, because he was down 2 goals. He's able to pull it back now, and it's looking good for him to close this one off. If Bobo doesn't find something soon, there's not much time to work with here, but the cross is crazy here. He's going to be able to get it inside here. Maybe this is his opportunity, but the defenders are there to snuff him out and close things down. It's not looking good here. Savage has now, done what Bobo did towards the middle part, and he's read the game well. He knows how Bobo is playing, and he's countering it perfectly. The runs are good here from Savage. Is he going to be able to find another goal here? The dribbling, he's just playing at this point. But yeah, the defense is able to close things down.
But one thing that is a bit concerning for me is that Bobo might be falling into old habits. Yet again, took a little bit too many extra touches on the ball when he was clearly through on goal. Might have been staring right now, only needing to clear back 1 goal, but still needs to claw back 2. And on the attack, running down the flank with Mbappe, Neymar on the ball in the box, looking for the turn, back onto Bruno Fernandes. Bruno cannot get the ball into the middle, gets out for a corner kick. And now it's all or nothing. Only, 17 minutes left in regulation time, probably only 3 added minutes at best. Time is ticking down here. And Bobo, what can he do?
What can you do indeed? I mean, look, it's just finishing, and I think he needs to work on the middle field. I think he's losing the ball a lot towards that middle field, but as soon as he does get past it, he's able to get into an attacking position to score a goal. So if he can tighten up the middle field, maybe, maybe he can pull this one back, but this corner is going to be big if he can capitalize from it, and it's going to be a cross. back in, defender in the right place at the right time. But it's going to stumble back in the hands of Bobo. Bobo now desperate for a goal. 15 minutes left. What can he do?
Time ticking down, danger not over just yet. The attack coming closer and closer. Can it get in? Finds the pass into Neymar. He's on the edge of the touchline here, but still no effective routes that would lead to a goal. And of course, Young Savage will be happy with this state of affairs, but the pass, oh, beautiful interception. I think right now, Bobo actually back on it. This might be the chance. Bobo goes for the shot, gets blocked, still on the ball though. But this time around, Young Savage, no nonsense. With a much more aggressive pass, gets it back onto the line. He waits. He's not going to try and recycle it up very quickly. He's going to wait, rather move it onto the other side of the pitch, sure that he's wasting as much time as possible with these moves.
Now it's Bobo back in the attack, passing to Messi. Messi squanders it in the middle of the field, and that's what I'm talking about. He's losing it a lot there in the middle of the field, and once it's in the middle and Savage has an opportunity to get that counter, he's just able to capitalize. But now he's going to have a run on here with Davis. Davis trying to find something, but there's nobody. He has to pass it back into the middle, and there's somebody in this time. And it's good for Neymar. This is tense now. The game is on. There's 5 minutes actually to play for, and it's not impossible to get a goal here. I feel, if Bobo does that again.
He just needs one more touch on the ball. Young Savage knows it. Bobo knows it. But the time is ticking out. Young Savage is going to try game manage this just the same way as he did in game one. Slowly lumbering onto the flank. And he's done a good job of this. Only 2 minutes left right now. And will he have run this down? Even the way he's passing, he's making sure to exploit as much space as possible. Bobo, this must be so frustrating. He just got a goal back. And just as that momentum might have led him to another one, that momentum is snuffed out. Only 1 minute left to play. Bobo, unfortunately, can do nothing because Young Savage has done enough. The game management will be able to lead him to victory. Woo! Great goal, but it wasn't enough.
That was a cracker of a game, I think, honestly. I mean, edge of my seat the whole
That
time.
was fire. I'm not even gonna lie. Sorry to cut you down, but I've been waiting to say that was fire. Like, I watched the first game and I was like, you know what? Young Savage come through. He's done his thing. You know what? 2-0, not a problem. And then the second game starts and Bobo Beast comes back 2-2. I'm like, it is game on. This is the action that is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. Tendo, sorry for cutting you, but say it again.
Yeah, very much of a cracker of a game. It almost looked like it was over for Bobo in that first leg, like you said, going down. But then he comes back and it's looking good, but Savage composed and, ready to pull things back. He manages to find the extra 2 goals to pull himself in the lead. Bobo comes at the end there to score that one, but yeah, Savage able with the game management to just hold things down to get this win. And it was a hard-fought win, I will say, for Savage. It wasn't as easy as it seemed. I'll definitely give my card to Bobo. I think Bobo did perform a little bit better than Savage, but Savage obviously clinical with the finishing.
Clinical he was, and coming away with a 4-3 victory. Let's take a look at how that has changed up the standings. So the change you were looking for, Snit.
Exactly. Now Young Savage has managed to knock Divac off of his perch and put himself into 4th place. This is going to be really great for him. And now this is interesting, right? 2, 3, and 4 all occupied by the Goliath boys. Everybody else seems to be chasing, except for Masum at the very top of the table. Bobo, unfortunately, a loss again does put him into 6th place, outside of 4th, and definitely now in danger potentially as the season extends of being in that relegation zone.
Well, as we see the table, Divac definitely has an opportunity to get back into the top 4 because he does have a game in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a big thank you to Snare and to Thendo Plays. This has been the FIFA 21 tournament at the Umzansi Esports League, brought to you by Northern Game. My name is Dr. Sid, and we are going to take a break and we'll be right back with more action in PUBG. Thanks, guys. Welcome back, guys, from the break to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. This is the PUBG Mobile segment, where today we have a lot of action in our various maps. My name is Dr. Sid, but I'm not here alone. I'm here with two amazing gentlemen who bring you a fantastic show every single time. It is DK and Patchy. How have your weeks been, DK?
Hectic, man. Hectic. Work as always. But of course, always excited to be here on Umzansi to see what the teams are going to be doing in Season 3. And I'm pretty sure Betchy is smiling quite a bit today. So from what I can see, it seems like he's been having an alright day.
Yeah.
Patchy?
Look, today's been all right. Let's not even talk about the week. Let's look forward, not backwards, right? The weekend's happening. It's Umzansi Esports League. It's PUBG. We're ready to get into it. That's what I want to look forward to right now.
Side note, Patchy, I just hope you've mailed my windbreaker from last week. Just checking.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at what the players are playing for. This is the prize pool. It is $17,500. Yes, dollars US. And the prize pool is separated into $2,500 for the FIFA 21 tournament and a whopping $15,000 for the PUBG tournament. That is the prize pool that the players are going to be playing for. Let's take a look at the leaderboard, what it looks at the moment.
Yeah, let's jump into here. So, of course, a Gamers Unite Nation sitting right at the top there, 204 total points. And obviously, they put in some serious numbers to be there. And overtake Slime4KT was sitting at 193 in that second place. Of course, G3 Temper with 166 in third. These have been the sort of top contenders for the top of this leaderboard for quite some time. Of course, Undisputed AE sitting with 141 points in fourth place. Sincerity, 136 in fifth. Zero Tolerance Skills, 135 in sixth. Aphelion Apex, 131 in seventh place. And NFxUNIQUE with 123 in eighth position. So, I mean, these guys have put some serious numbers in, like, full stop. But really, those top three teams have been, juggling around for that first position for quite some time. And of course, Gun, the first team to break 200 points. So moving on to the second page, we've got Influence Rage Africa sitting in that ninth position, 119. Immortalz in 10th with 113. Euphoric Gods in 11th with 103, as well as Natural Killers and the Drogons with 103 each in 12 and 13, respectively. We've got BBC in 14 with 102. Just behind them, of course, we've got Pain Africa 98 in 15th and Rain from Hell in 16th place with 98 as well. So those top pages looking, pretty spicy, no problems there whatsoever. It's down here where we start to get towards the edges. Top 24 still okay for the time being, but of course, we've seen these spots swap out here and there. Of course, Ultra 16 in 17 with 93. Fear in 18th position with 92. Outsiders Official very close behind in 19th with 91. 20th position, we've got the Young Thundercats with 90, with Spaza 6 in 21 with 84. We've got Not Gaming in 22 with 82, Lag in 23 with 79 points, and of course, Rainbow Six Madagascar 24 with 78. Now, moving on to the next page, though, that's where things start to get a little bit sus. These teams, we've seen some of them jump up and down. We've seen them trying to get out of this position, and we have seen a little bit of success here and there, but ultimately, these teams have been remaining down here for most of the time. We got Black Clover in 25 with 74, Comfy Cartel in 26 with 72, Sidizens in 27 with 71, Nibble in 28 with 51, Toxic in 29 with 25, and Blank Legion 30 in 12 points there. So yeah, those teams, they've got a little bit of a hot seat going on there. Of course, moving into that point score, this is how you move yourself out of this relegation zone. First place will get you 15 very juicy points. Second place will get you 12. Third will get you 10. Fourth will get you 8. Fifth will get you 6. Sixth place will get you 4 points. Seventh place will get you 2. Anything between 8 and 12 will give you 1 point. And this is the big kicker. 13 to 16 position get nothing. And then, of course, it's a kill per point. So those two sitting right next to each other there, 13 to 16, 0, and kill 1. Those two sitting right there are the biggest changes that we've had this season, and the biggest things that teams have needed to be focusing on to get those points, to get out of relegation, to get to the top of those zones, because you need to balance the kills and you need to get placements as well. It's no longer just, place, get some points, get consistent points. You have to get up on that leaderboard at the end of the game.
Definitely moving up that leaderboard is highly important, especially for some people who shall not be on this particular stream today. DK, could you talk us through the teams that we're going to be looking at today? We're looking at the teams from Group B and Group C. Could you tell us what are we expecting from these guys today?
Well, of course, the teams that we're going to be looking at for that is the team from Influence Rage. We've got Zero Tolerance. We've got the players there from BBC. We have the Immortalz. We've got G3 Temper, Not Gaming, as well as the players from Rainbow Six Madagascar. That's all, of course, all the teams in that Group B section. And they're going to be going up against the teams from Group C. So expecting to see some pretty interesting gameplays coming in across the board, as we have some of the teams already on, just in Group B here, already really on that overall leaderboard. As we saw, of course, the players from G3 currently sitting up in 3rd place. But now, as we move over towards the players here from the Group C squads, we see that, of course, being the players there from Guns. We've got Lag Esports, we've got the Comfy Cartel, we've got the players coming in from Africa, Drogons, Nibble Esports, Natural Killers, as well as Toxic Esports. Of course, with Gun in the lobby here, you know, things are definitely going to be pretty tough. As Patchy already mentioned, you know, they broke into the 200, so we're expecting to see that aggressive play coming in today. You know, we're expecting to see that kind of dominating play coming in from the teams already positioned so high up on that overall leaderboard.
And as we can tell, those groups contain a lot of the teams in the top half of the table and of course in the top 8. So it'll be very nice to see the action of these teams taking each other out. Will Gun extend their lead to an uncatchable distance, or will somebody else close the gap? Will we see some people rise from the ashes like a phoenix and get some heavy points and move up that leaderboard? It is all coming up next as we move into our flight path over Erangel in Game 1 of the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nordwing Gaming. I do say this all the time, and I'll say it once again. If you are not following Nordwing Gaming on all our social platforms, you need to do so now, because you do not want to miss out on any of the action and updates that you will get on there. So while we're talking about this right now, I have literally said that I think Gamers Unite Nations are going to build an insurmountable lead, and they're going to put a big gap between themselves and the rest of the pack. Obviously, they're going to they have no choice but to make it through to the next round. But in the next round, DK, all points are scrapped and we start from scratch. So what is going on in the mindset of these players, knowing that whatever they do now is just enough to get them to the next stage?
Well, I guess you've got some of the teams that are playing, you know, they're playing it to qualify for the next phase, right? So we're not necessarily seeing their top level play just yet. They are holding that back. They're keeping it in the bag for the time being, you know, to kind of surprise the opponents when they get to those later phases when it really matters what they're going to be doing. But of course, you know, now we're going to be seeing what they're going to do. First map of the day here on Erangel.
Yep, so I will leave you guys to handle the Erangel business. My name is Dr. Sid, and I'll see you guys after the game.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Sid. And it is our first game of today. And of course, it is Erangel as per usual. But, you know, I want to follow on a little bit on that conversation that we were having just now, you know, about the teams moving into the next round, the point reset and you know, holding back some of those strats. I think now it becomes much less about the game, about Gun, about G3, about the top of the leaderboard, and it becomes a lot more about the game at the bottom of the leaderboard. Those last few slots where the teams are looking to potentially be demoted, potentially be relegated, that's where our focus turns to. I mean, that's the sort of dichotomy of the beginning of the season versus towards the end of the round, where right in the beginning of the round, we're looking who's going to make it to the top. Now towards the end of the round, we're looking who is going to get out of the bottom slots, out of the relegation spots. Right now, we've got a couple of teams still down there. We've, you know, Blank Legion, Toxic, Nibble, Citizens. And actually, interesting thing about Nibble, I had a little bit of a chat with one of the guys from Nibble the other week. And somebody mentioned, I think it was S Proxy actually in one of the casts, mentioned that they were only playing with 3 players. They've been playing with 3 players this whole time because they haven't been able to actually sign up their last player. They had a bit of a technical problem or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, with trying to get all that done. So they were only able to get 3 of their players in, which is why they've been playing with 3 the whole time, and they have been trying to get that sorted out. So I mean, they started this whole thing off with a little bit of a deficit, which is a bit of a feels bad, man. But now we sit with that situation where we've got these bottom teams with a very difficult task ahead. Now we did see, I think it was Fear the other week actually move themselves out of relegation in a very impressive manner. The question is, are we going to see something similar here? I mean, with these few remaining days left of the round, with so few chances to be able to do this, do you think these teams will be able to make it happen? Or are we just going to see the same teams that we're seeing right now in the relegation zone? Or are we just going to see them get relegated?
I don't know, Patch. Anything can still happen. It all depends on, and I've said this before, it depends on when they flick the switch. When they decide, like, now is the time to step up. Now is the time to start performing and, trying to get up into that next phase. But then the problem with that comes in is if they do that too late, right? Would they then still be able to do that? If they wait until the last day to then start to then start playing, I think then it's a little bit of a wasted effort. It's something that you have to plan for. You have to work it into your strategies, and of course you got to go approach the game with that kind of mentality. Is take the first few games, see how you fare, and then from there on, you got to determine whether or not you're going to try your utmost best to make it all the way through, because a lot of these teams have the ability to do that, but of course it comes down to that mindset. Are they focused enough to try and pull through and give their utmost best performance? I mean, it's understandable that some of the teams, they're just having a tough day. They're just having a tough time. That happens. We're all human. It's human nature. We all go through days. But of course, it comes down to the ability, to your ability of being able to bounce back from that. You know, if you can get your mindset right before the match, and then come in with a sober mind, bring your utmost best, and bring in that next level aggression, that next level, like gameplay. That is absolutely phenomenal stuff. But of course, it is something that I see the teams working towards.
Yeah.
Some teams accomplishing it a little bit better than others, but of course, it is a thing that you can see in general, just looking at how the teams progress. The growth that we've been seeing over the past few weeks already. You see the teams, they're trying to find that rhythm, trying to get up into it, and yeah, I mean, it's working out for some, others not so much, but of course, that is just how things go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about bouncing back and trying to bring that up, the A game here in this situation, the best that you can bring, and how you're not necessarily going to be able to bring the best every single day. The caveat to this whole situation is that, if you do decide to, make that leap, like you were suggesting some of the teams want, or perhaps are thinking of doing, where they wait until the end before they perform, and then they bring themselves out of that relegation, in a surprise push right at the end. The caveat to that is the fact that if you wait that long, you put such immense pressure on yourself and the rest of your team to perform, because if it just so happens that you aren't having a good day in that day where you need to have a good day, then you don't have any chances, right? Whereas the team sitting right at the top, like, they don't even need to worry at the moment. Like a team like Gun, for instance, they could literally just have bad days all day for, forever, till the end of the round, and they would still be fine. And it's like they've given themselves that leeway to be able to do that. And some of these teams now, let's say, for instance, you're sitting down in the bottom of the relegation, that you can pull something out of the hat. That you've got good strategies and that solid tactics, and you haven't been giving it your all. Now, suddenly the pressure is on you. If you make a mistake, it's even worse. It gets amplified like 100 times, because you cannot make mistakes right now. You cannot, there's no leeway. There's no buffer zone. You have to perform there. Otherwise you get relegated. That's it. That's just it. So I think that if the teams have decided to do that, then, it is definitely putting themselves in a situation that they don't necessarily need to be in. Now, that's presuming that the teams are holding back. On the other hand, of course, maybe they really are just you know, having a tough time. All these other teams performing really, really well, making it difficult to actually get the needed points on the board to be able to move on up. So I guess we'll have a look and see. For the time being, Rainbow Six getting engaged by the Natural Killers, who have had a little bit of a spotty performance over this round so far. We've seen them come in and then sort of dive out a little bit, do some good work, and then fall away a little bit. So they've had a little bit of an up and down performance across the board. Here we get some shots from them, though. They are looking forward to killing some of those Rainbow Six Madagascar players. The blue zone has washed over as well, so there's a little bit of extra pressure, and they are moving in for the kills. So the Natural Killers going for some of those natural kills.
Yeah, indeed, that is exactly what we are seeing. But of course, pressure just coming in, and the Natural Killers taking this approach very interestingly. I mean, a nice bit of a spread, nice group effort that we see coming in as they push up quite aggressively. Of course, now Kaiden getting the knock right there up in towards one of the players. But of course, the shots continue to fly through. Natural Killers just closing that one out, as we saw. They lost Rushy in the process. So it was a bit of an unfortunate event, but now they are fighting against that blue zone. Now they need to try and get back up into zone. It is going to be a bit of a challenge, but fortunately for them, it is only the first phase. So that blue zone, as you would put it, only tickles them at the current time. Don't worry about too much. But of course, now looking back over towards Rainbow Six, they are down to their last remaining hopeful. Who's now also just trying to squeeze all the way up into zone and potentially looking to just make their way on through into those late zones.
Yeah, thankfully for them, of course, just making that rotation out of the blue, not too difficult at this stage of the game. Of course, playing on Erangel can be very interesting when it comes to some of those later sort of mid-game rotations. So they're making do with some of that early leeway in terms of space. We still have 15 teams on the board here, so BBC making their rotate as they generally do. We've actually seen BBC stepping it up quite a lot. I mean, you know, traditionally we've known them as a very good, competent rotational team, but they've actually shown us this season that they have some really good fight in them as well, and it's been quite solid to see them putting in some good performances. And I mean, this group is really a clash of some serious titans and also of some serious, you know, heavy impact plays, because in this group, we both have the team sitting right at the top as well as the team sitting right at the bottom. So, you know, if there's ever been an impactful group, it's this one right here.
Yeah, I'm definitely expecting a few interesting plays coming in from this group. You know, we've seen them in past games also just battling it out, going at each other's throats on the map. And on the last time we saw them, of course, over on towards Erangel, that was where we had the players from G3 Temper coming in with a 13-kill game. So, I mean, you know, the potential is there. We could maybe see a repeat of that. But of course, now looking over towards the players here from Nibble, last time they finished up in 10th place overall for the match. Influence Rage finished up in 4th place with a really strong 6-kill count. But now they're looking to find a few more onto the side there of Nibble. And it's an interesting position. They got a nice higher ground angle. But of course, fortunately, they do have the vehicle. Of course, here are the 3 players that you were talking about not too long ago. Their vehicle now getting blown up. They get reduced down to 2, or 1 rather, as it is going to be a pretty easy clean up there for Hainsley as he now moves up, picks up those kills. And of course, well, now there's only 1 player remaining for the Nibble team.
Yeah, I mean, this is the situation. You know, it's like, it's tough, it's difficult. This team, not only are they already a man down, but you know, they split up. Ronnie all alone now, not able to do very much, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Has to do the whole survival tactic, which can be effective. We've seen it before. Of course, BBC now engaging with Toxic and seemingly coming out ahead for the time being. They found themselves a pretty good spot here in the zone, and they're defending it quite well, making sure no one comes close, just keeping everyone at bay. And I presume this is the beginning of that slow setup that we generally see coming through around this time. All the teams just getting into their cover and then sort of sitting there as the time ticks away and pushes them forward with that blue zone until they're forced to rotate. So, yeah, I mean, this is a sort of traditional style Erangel at this point.
Yeah, I mean, slow, steady approach. You know, it's like they're building up that momentum as they progress through the phases. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see exactly what is going to be happening and how these fights are going to unfold once we get into those later phases. Because, I mean, we still have 15 teams remaining, 50 players left on the map. And, of course, as we look over towards the players here from Cartel, they're also now sitting on a 3-man team. But, of course, right up ahead of them, we can see the players there from the Immortalz now just moving up on that ridge line. They do have Lala in a bit of an uncomfortable position. It's not the most... yeah, definitely not the most comfortable spot to be in. But if the Immortalz play this one well, they can move in, pick up a few more kills before pushing a little bit further onwards. But of course, we're also now waiting to see where this phase is going to take us, where the blue zone is about to close on up. So then we're going to see if there's going to be an aggressive zone shift, and of course, whether or not they can continue their fighting over here.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point as well, you start talking about these teams that are sitting down towards the bottom of the leaderboard. You know, the teams at the top, there is so little pressure on them that they can actually just do whatever they want, including set themselves up in some random place and just sit there and like annoy everyone, you know, and make it really tough to actually make anything happen. You know, that's definitely a possibility that can come through here. You know, if a team right at the top is like, we see we've got a team sitting in relegation zone that's going to try their best to get out of there. Let's stop that from happening. Let's just, you know, make their day even tougher by just sitting here and being a thorn in their side. That becomes a possibility now. You know, the teams can definitely throw their weight around a little bit more and sort of increase their presence, increase the amount of risk that they can take, just because they know, you know, if they lose, it's not the end of the world. Now, the teams at the very top of the leaderboard, I don't think they're going to focus on that, because I think they're still interested in competing. I mean, when you have teams sitting at the top very close together, but guns sitting over 200, I think you maybe want to take that away from them, take that a little bit of an achievement away from them. Here, of course, zero tolerance skills engaged a little bit with the Immortalz, some very long range shots coming through from them, so they're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a fat rip of the knock we saw coming in just there on towards Skydo, but of course, some good retaliations coming in, really quick reflexes, but now we look to see how the players here from the Immortalz are going to try and push on into this position. I mean, zero tolerance, yes, they already have the one play knock, already been raced back up, busy recovering some health, and Python trying to push on in as we can see those shots from Morty just following straight on through. Of course, zero tolerance on 3 players. Oh, double knock on either side. The confirms now coming on through, and this is where things get so interesting. The Immortalz already losing 2 of their players now. The fight is going down, and of course, zero tolerance not losing a single player, but wiping the whole squad of the... What a play that was.
Man, I did not expect that at all. Like, I definitely did not expect that to happen. Immortalz and zero tolerance skills sitting relatively high on the leaderboard now. Zero tolerance is higher than the Immortalz, but I did not see that going the way of zero tolerance. Like, the Immortalz had some good picks there. They had some good angles. And yeah, that just absolutely did not work out for them whatsoever. Getting sent right back to that lobby. It's a little bit unfortunate, but there it is. That's the way the game goes. Very well defended by zero tolerance. And now, of course, we're having a look and seeing Infant's Rage here, keeping a watchful eye out towards the not gaming. And yeah, that zone has moved up a little bit once again, ready to close in on these teams and push them further together. Or closer together, should I say. We're still sitting on quite a considerable number of players, though, and I mean, heading in towards the mid-game, you know, things are going to get quite difficult in terms of space management.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty tough. But of course, you know, it is going to be quite exciting to see as the players there from Rainbow Six now also get eliminated, getting sent back into the lobby as their last hopeful just got devoured in the blue zone. But now, of course, the players here from Not Gaming, you know, just waiting patiently, just trying to best assess how to rotate up. You can see Macho, of course, now just waiting for Jagger to join on up, potentially. Or, I don't know what strat Macho is going for there. But, of course, now that rotation coming through from Not Gaming. But, of course, now we see the Savage here from Toxic. Oh, moving in right behind BBC. That is what happens if you drive a Lamborghini on grass, Patchy.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it's not really designed for that, you know, so definitely getting your punishment here, and that's exactly what Toxic is feeling right now. BBC putting some good work in. I've actually really enjoyed seeing how they play. I've noticed that one of the things they like to do is hang one of their players back or from a different angle, and they almost always have those different angles supporting one another. And it's really interesting because it works quite well for them. Now, of course, pushing up against G3 tempo, probably not the best decision you could make. And there goes for luck, getting taken out and thirsted very, very quickly. G3, not the kind to take you very lightly. It's definitely not a team you want to ignore or try and tempt, because they are quite cold when it comes to their fights. BBC, having lost a player, now sitting back in towards this house. They're looking for a challenge, and I mean, they're in a pretty decent spot on that overall leaderboard, so they can go for this if they really want to, see how they can match up against a team like G3, for instance, who they have gone toe-to-toe with a couple of times here, but of course, with G3 being right at the top of the leaderboard, you know how most of those went. Shots going forward, backwards and forwards, these teams quite safe inside the zone for the time being, so they're just going to pop a couple of shots this way and that until somebody goes down.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting engagement, you know, to see what's going to be happening between BBC and G3. I mean, so far, BBC, you can see all three of their players still alive. We've, of course, got the one on that off angle, as you were talking about. Of course, now Nihal and Law also just patiently waiting. And there's a few more kills now finding their way on through. But here we go. The players from Pain also now getting a little bit closer. Lord still just hanging back, but the shots flying through in towards BBC as Lord picks up a nice little kill there as well. But of course, now G3 keeping a very watchful eye, looking to see if they can find any of those angles. There's so many teams still left here, Patchy. I mean, 12 teams remaining, 38 players scattered throughout the zone. And of course, two of these teams right here in front of us, with the addition of several more trying to get up in towards the zone. But now speaking about the zone, Natural Killers and Gun right here alongside each other. Nerf picking up and head on towards Nova as we see the squad now pushing up quite aggressively. Plaza and Nerf Me now making their way through the comp. Short point slip, just hanging around on the outskirts. They're just keeping that additional angle covered. Of course, now Nerf Me with a bit of spray over towards Shroud. Oh, down he goes. Their heads finding their way on through. Quick reaction here coming in from Salah, but of course, Nerf Me jumps out the window, picks up the kill, but now the third-party shots from Zero Tolerance are also finding their way over on towards Guns. So this is going to be a very tricky position for them to get out of, but a beautiful third-party coming in there from the players from Zero Tolerance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I mean, this is a tough one all around coming up the challenge Gun. Not exactly the easiest thing to do. And then suddenly Zero Tolerance coming in with those third parties. Also a team very high up on the log here, just throwing their weight around and making things really, really tough. And of course, now these teams find themselves very much outside of that blue zone, or sorry, I should say the safe zone. So they're going to have to get rotating very, very quickly. Lag off in the distance also needs to get themselves moving. That's indeed what they're going to be doing. All these teams need to get themselves across that line. As you mentioned, we've still got plenty of teams and players left. We're in our top 10 at the moment, 31 players left alive as Zero Tolerance beefing themselves back up. G3 still doing what they do right in the center of the zone, putting those shots all across the border. This is what they do time and time again. We've seen them literally do this every time they're playing. They find a spot, and it just happens to be like slap bang in the middle of somewhere really, really crowded. And then they just put shots in a 360-degree angle, and they just sit there and they kill you and they kill everyone, and they just pick you up time and time again, getting those kills. This is what they do. This is why they're sitting towards the top of that leaderboard. Of course, Gun is still the team at the top, but we'll see if that changes here today. That could certainly happen. These teams are quite close, and any chicken dinners and some kills could make it happen. These teams are very good at doing that. And speaking of, Zero Tolerance putting those serious shots in towards Influence Rage, who are not being able to keep themselves alive for the time being. Lag moving up towards G3, and G3 just waiting for the right moment to strike, the right moment to peek out and take those kills that they feel belong to them. In the meantime, Pain under a little bit of fire here from the Cartel. Some mollies have gone through. The smokes are being popped as well to obscure that vision, make the shots a little bit difficult. Kingerman taking a bit of damage, but not going down. Comfy Cartel just skirting the outer edges of that zone is going to mean they have to push a little bit further forward and expose themselves to the surrounding teams. Gun putting some shots in with that Mini 14. Everyone fighting along the perimeter here. Not too easy.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty hairy. You've got 9 teams, 29 players still alive. And of course now Comfy Cartel not too comfy on this western side. They've got the players from Pain up ahead of them, and of course a slight bit of pressure coming in from the south. As you can see, El Chapo now getting hit with a beautiful nade getting sent. A true Lala and Tigress still just trying to make their play over on this western side. You can see now the players there from Toxic also trying to push on in. Zero Tolerance just greeting them as they rotate on in. The Great Unknown getting sent back on into the lobby. But of course, Pain also now trying to make their own play on the edge of that. So scattered out throughout. This is going to be a really tricky one. And of course, now with the next being a little bit further up in towards that northeastern side. So it is going to be pretty crazy, especially in the swamp area. Such a tough area to be playing in. Of course, G3 just fortifying the position they've already got in that zone.
Dude, that is... I mean, look at what we're seeing here. 7 teams inside this tiny zone, man. It is nuts. These guys just stay alive too long. And of course, that's creating some serious chaos as everyone is rotating in. G3 putting in long-range shots in towards lag. Some serious fire going through Gun, mobilizing in as well. Everyone putting those shots across. Nerf doing what he does, picking up the kills. Dude, and also doing the same lag, getting hit, taken down one by one. Everyone trying to make it across that line, but the shots are just too much. There's not enough cover. There's too many players, too many teams left on the board, and it's just utter chaos as these teams try their best to get across that line, try their best to keep themselves and the team alive, but there's not much space left. The teams that have compounds barely at that, sitting there trying to wait the timer out. Lag knows they need to push forward, but as soon as they do, the shots come through, the hits come through. It's not possible for them to move further than that line without taking up those kills. Lag getting hit, Gun getting hit, zero tolerance skills as well, putting those shots in. The Comfy Cartel trying their best, putting in a couple. I think that was a bit of a thirst coming through there. I mean, this is just crazy. Look at this. I mean, he's just crawling through the smoke, getting sniped by Gun up in a tower. There is no chance that you're going to make it across this line without being seen. It is just an all-out gun battle between these teams that are just smushed up in the zone.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane. Of course, BBC now making their play down in towards the south of the zone. Of course, right there alongside them, so many more teams. Of course, we got Flacco and Co. just split up on the edge down in the south alongside the players from BBC. So Nihal facing a little bit of a difficult challenge there to make it into the next phase potentially. But of course, we're looking now. This is just insane. Actually, we got the Dragons, we've got Guns, we've got the players there from Zero Tolerance, we've got Comfy Cartel, G3. Everyone just holding on, and everyone is so reluctant to go down. They're fighting to the bone. As you can see, of course, Nero taking quite a few hits now in the process, getting taken out. Lala just huddling up, waiting for an opening, and of course, G3 still just playing the zone position extremely well. And of course, we can see Zero Tolerance getting that knock on over towards Flacco. So down he goes, 6. Now just playing the edge, quickly going in for a little bit of loot. They've been using up so much ammo, of course, can pretty much, you know, guess that they should be in dire need of some rules. But of course now the Dragons, as we can see, sitting all the way down over in that southwestern side. 6 just outside of zone. Comfy Cartel in the zone at the moment, so not a heavily aggressive zone shift, but it is going to be difficult, especially rotating all the way back on in. As you can see now, of course, Zero Tolerance, Vortex putting the shots straight over. Sitting there, lying in wait, picks up the hit on towards Nerf Me. Of course, now Plaza is the next target. The shots find their way on through, and what a play it was, as we can see Evasion now picking up those final few shots there. But of course, now Flacco positioned on the edge of zone, gatekeeping, trying to push on up. It's such a tough one to be in. I mean, 3 teams, 10 players still alive. Zero Tolerance, G3. Of course, we got the Dragons also just over on that western front, with G3 just going absolutely ham. I'm curious to see, though, what the Dragons are going to be doing and how they are going to play it, because they have a slight bit of a higher ground. Now, will they try and leverage that to their advantage, or will we see the players here from Zero Tolerance and G3 just maneuver their way around and get the upper hand?
You know, these last couple of minutes for me have felt like a little bit of a big dog fight. I mean, we had Gun, Zero Tolerance, and G3 just sitting there taking some shots. A brilliant maneuver coming out of Zero Tolerance to get the kill and the first finisher on towards Gun. I did not expect that to be coming so soon, but there it is. And now we've got Zero Tolerance, we've got G3. Do I think the Drogons are going to make something happen from this position? I don't know. We've got two of the biggest heavy-hitting teams towards the top of that leaderboard sitting here right across from each other. One of them just took out Gun. The other one is sitting in third position, and they're about to go out. I don't know. I feel like they're just gonna, see the Drogons up on this hill as a bit of a pest and try and eradicate them before they go ahead. Who knows? Can they utilize this position? We'll see. Zero Tolerance is on a rampage today. They just do not care. They're going for that top spot once again. Mutant putting the shots in, but up comes the blue zone, making things super difficult. They're going to have to move up. That might be the time to strike. G3 putting the shots in, Mutant making them happen, but the return fire comes through as well. 6 getting taken out. That blue zone a little bit too much to handle. Zero Tolerance skills have zero tolerance for you or your team. Putting those shots in immediately, punishing you, taking you down. G3 now on the back foot. It's the Dragons for no one. Are they going to be able to leverage this position? So far, they haven't. Crawling around here on the top, just waiting for the last moment to strike. It is Zero Tolerance versus the Dragons. Who's going to make it happen? The mollies are flying, but the upper hand so far is in the hands of the Dragons. They've got that high ground. But can they make this happen? Can they beat Zero Tolerance skills, who have just been on something else here today in this game? Taking out the likes of G3, taking out the likes of Gun, who are sitting at the very top of the leaderboard currently overall. And that is no small feat, especially considering the teams that they've been up against. But now, Dragons are staring down this barrel, and they're not too sure how they want to react to this. Up comes the rotation. Dan just absolute balls to the walls. They're putting the shots in. Here comes Zero Tolerance skills. The Dragons make the charge, but can they stay alive? The shots are coming through. Can they land them? Yes. Zuka will land some, but immediately punished and instantly taken down. That is Zero Tolerance picking up a whopping chicken dinner. Look at those kills. That is 17 kills.
Yeah, that was just an absolutely insane play. But what a play that was by Vortex right there at the end, managing to find finishing blows. And of course, as we look on that right side, there's so little teams that were able to bring in any points. I mean, it is such a kill-heavy top end of this leaderboard. That is insane. Of course, well done to the players there from Zero Tolerance. Dragons, or the Drogons rather, putting up a really good performance as well, finishing off, as we can see there, on 7 kills. And of course, G3 coming in on 6. So again, really good performances, a lot of aggression that we saw, a lot of shots being put in. But at the end of the day, the players there from Zero Tolerance were the ones to pick up that chicken dinner. And what a show that was.
Definitely an amazing show. The guys from Zero Tolerance showing that in it to win it. I'm super excited for the guys from Drogons really putting in the performance, and I'm sure that performance will take them way up the leaderboard. But Patchy, 17 kills? Come on. That has to be a highlight from one of those kills for you.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, I think the biggest play for me there out of Zero Tolerance was when the one player just decided, you know what, the mountain, the upper ground, the smoke, I don't care about it. I'm just gonna kill Gun, and then he just goes and kills Gun single-handedly. I think that was just like, oh, wow, these guys are doing something else here. What's happening? I mean, this is the kind of performance we expect from teams that need to get out of relegation. But here's Zero Tolerance sitting all the way towards the top of the leaderboard. They're like, no, I'm coming for that #1 spot.
And to say this very quickly, we did have some action right from the get-go on this particular map today. So it's like some of these teams were listening, because as soon as we landed, we had action. And that definitely made for some good excitement, DK. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal to see the teams, going like right out the gate, getting super aggressive, right up in there, bringing that next level play. And of course, speaking of next level play, we move into the standings. As you can see, the players there from Zero Tolerance skills sitting right up in pole position, 17 kills, 32 total points. The Drogons coming in to second place there on 19 with 7 kills. We got G3 over in third with 16 points and 6 kills. Gun finishing up in 4th place with 11 points and 5 kills to their name. Of course, the company Cartel finishing up in 5th place on 10 points. Getting good placement points, but only managing to pick up 2 kills along the way. Of course, BBC finishing up in 6th. They're on 7 points. Influence Rage also then finishing in 7th place, also sitting on 7 points. And well, the Natural Killers finishing in 8th place, but managing to find 4 kills along the way, finishing up with a grand total of 5 points for the match.
Oh, man. Okay, just before we even continue, can I just say that Zero Tolerance Skills has literally picked up more points in this one game than our bottom team has picked up over this entire round.
Wow.
32 points in one game, and right now, the very bottom of the log. So right now, the overall leaderboard, 31 points. So Zero Tolerance Skills literally just beat in one game that Vortex, MVP, Zero Tolerance Skills, 8 points. This is it. Zero Tolerance. Somehow they've just decided today is the day that they're going for that #1 spot, and it's not for any reason other than we're taking the #1 for bragging rights.
Yeah, definitely, because they don't need #1 spot to qualify. All they have to do is be in the top 24. Shout out to Vortex there with 8 kills. That was just amazing gameplay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the action that is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 PUBG Mobile, brought to you by Nordwing Gaming. My name is Dr. Sid. I'm here with Patchy and DK, and we'll be back after this break with some more PUBG Mobile action. Welcome back once again to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. This is the place for the hottest esports action on the African continent. If you're not here, I have no idea where you are. You have just missed an amazing game of PUBG Mobile. If you're just joining us, my name is Dr. Sid, and I'm here with Patchy and DK, and we are walking everyone through the hottest PUBG Mobile action on the continent and indeed the world right now. We've just had our teams from Group B and C go through their first map on Erangel, with the guys from Zero Tolerance taking the winner chicken dinner. Take a look at what the standings look like. The Drogons coming through with an amazing surprise effort to push themselves up the leaderboard and grab some amazing points in second place. G3 Temper keeping around the top spots with a third place finish. Gamers Unite Nations from South Africa, our top team in the overall leaderboard, coming in fourth place. The Comfy Cartel, BBC, Influence Rage, and Natural Killers round up the positions from 5 to 8 respectively. Now, looking at number 9, we have Lag Esports from Mozambique coming in at 9th place, coming from Nigeria in 10th. Toxic Esports from South Africa, Pain Africa, who were a surprise team who moved up the leaderboard into the top 20 region, coming in 12th position. Rainbow Six Madagascar from Madagascar. In 13th position, the Immortalz and Nibble Esports round up 14th and 15th place for this matchup standings. We have our next map coming up. It is Sandhawk, which is one of my personal favorites. And judging by DK, I want to ask this to you. Judging by the action that we saw early in Erangel, are we hoping for some early action in Sandhawk?
We could. I mean, just looking in general how the teams have already approached that first match, I'm hopeful that that momentum, that kind of mindset continues over on towards Sanhok, because it is a pretty map. So I think it's going to be a match to look forward to, hoping to see that aggression, you know, all the way throughout the whole Sanhok map. And man, if it's right there out of the gate, I'm not going to be complaining. That is just going to make it make for so much more of an interesting game, as you know, there's going to be continuous fighting. If that is what we can draw in just looking at the Erangel map we just had. So yeah, I'm pretty hopeful for that.
And Patchy, you know, you did mention earlier on that Vortex just threw caution to the wind and just went and single-handedly took out the gun team. Do you think we will get some more out of the box outrageous plays like that on this map?
I really hope so. I really hope so, because I mean, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier about the top teams being in the safe zone. They really are. They really are. They can do risky stuff like that because they are really just way ahead of that relegation zone, that cutoff line. They're so far ahead they can try something new. And I really hope these teams just use that as a confidence boost to say, yeah, you know what, let's just go for it, because why not, right? If I can single-handedly take Gun out, why not? If I can challenge G3, why not? You know, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can pull something insane and outrageous off. I really hope that we see teams like, for instance, Zero Tolerance Skills, just like hitting the dirt, whipping out the guns, and just taking somebody down immediately and just looking for their next kill and just going for those points. I mean, 32 points in a single game. We still have 2 games left, this game and the next one.
And you see, that is exactly what we're looking for. Some entertaining gameplay in this tournament. The teams have been cautious over time, landing, getting their gear, avoiding a lot of conflict, hoping for that good placement point before engaging in getting the kills. Today, we've seen action right from the get-go. We've seen some outrageous plays with teams throwing caution to the wind and going to their opponents and getting the kills and eventually getting that winner chicken dinner. Sandhawk is an amazing map for close quarter combat, and let's see if we're going to be getting some amazing action right from the get-go as I hand you over to Patchy and DK. See you guys after the game.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sid. It is match number 2, the second map. It's Sandhawk here for this evening, and as we would expect, we had a first game that was very, very spicy. And I mean, we wouldn't expect anything less from teams like these. We've got some heavy hitters here in the group. If you're just joining us, we've got players like G3 Tampa, we've got Gun, we've got Zero Tolerance Skills, who have dropped a serious bomb there in the first game, and I'm wondering if they're going to try and do the same here. I want to see some caution, as Dr. Sid says, caution thrown to the wind.
Yeah, and hopefully it is a windy day over on that Sanok map. Of course, on Erangel, we saw the aggression while players were still parachuting in, Patrick.
Yeah.
Like, we were still showing the map and there was already shots. Now, we look at the zone over towards that eastern side. A few positions where we've got teams dropping a little bit hard. Painan, of course, being one of those, as well as Paradise Resort. So, a lot of potential for those early game fights. But, of course, now we see who will be the teams to step up and give us those plays.
Yeah, we will just have to wait and find out. A quick reminder, of course, as per usual, hidden up on your screen, we do have teams like BBC in the mix, as well as the Immortalz, who have been hovering around up towards the top side of that leaderboard. Interested to see what BBC tries. We have seen them do some interesting things here and there. And I think, I'm not sure if it was Natural Killers that tried something very, very interesting the other week. Me and Sprox noticed some very interesting strategies coming out there, such as, but not limited to, sailing off into the distance. So that was very interesting. I really hope we see some more crazy stuff like that. I know that we go on and on about the kills and about, you know, the competitive nature of the game and what to do in like the most effective tactic available. We talk about that a lot. We talk about the main strategies of African region teams. But the other thing that I really like to see is just like crazy stuff that we don't expect coming through and seeing how it works. And we've had some, you know, some successes here and there out of crazy stuff. And I really hope that the confidence coming through from these teams who are sitting nice and comfy towards the top of that leaderboard, I hope they just pull the plug and really do something crazy. G3 now, of course, here across from the team of Lag in this compound, waiting to see if anybody gets spotted out. I don't think they're going to run head-to-head just yet, but they are there, so there's some potential at least, and I assume that they will go for it. I mean, you know, caution to the wind is exactly what these teams can do because they are in absolutely no danger of getting relegated whatsoever. So these guys really can pick their moment to go for it. The Drogons putting some shots in there towards Not Gaming, so Not Gaming not having a very good time. Gun actually getting hammered as well. That's Rainbow Six Madagascar putting some shots into their Shota going to go down in the meantime, though, as Gun does respond. Now, I think Gun must be a little bit frustrated from getting taken out down in, I think it was 4th or 5th position in that previous game by Zero Tolerance, who really just got some insane shots in there. So I think Gun is going to be coming back with a bit of a vengeance here, but I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll definitely wait and see. And of course, that team that you were referring to in the water, that was NFxUNIQUE that we saw with that sacrifice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
they did.
That was so good.
Yes, that was indeed. Yeah, that was indeed what it was. But of course, we also have seen the players here battling it out up in towards the far northern reaches here, as you can see over in Hatin. Some of the players here from Not Gaming and Dragons now showing quite a bit more aggression as in comparison to what we saw in the last showing between them. But of course, this is what we love, as we see now Suzuka getting taken out there by Snora, and now the rest of the Drogons are pushing in, trying to secure their teammate in the process. Suzuka, of course, now Yaga now trying to make that play. Zeus right there alongside him. Snora the assault, pushing up aggressively, but of course Nero is there to stop him in his tracks. It's now door open for the rest of the players. Not Gaming try their luck and push on in as Yaga gets taken out. Beautiful spray, rather Zeus got taken out. Beautiful spray though coming in from the Drogons. But of course now Dan the man moving on in. Will he be able to get the clutch here for his team? Will he be the one to find those shots on in towards the players here gaming? It is going to be a pretty tough exchange as Yaga now steps up to get the next confirmed, sealing the fate there of Nero. Now we wait to see Dan also looking to pick an easy point. Yaga still just waiting patiently in ambush. Be a really tough play for him though. Oh, Drogons just making it so challenging. But of course now Dan realizing that it could probably be better to have two players go at it instead of just having the one could be a very abrupt finish there for them. Of course, you can hear the pre-fire just up top as Jager is now trying to figure out what would be the best play. Jumps out the window, tries to move on out. There's Zuka comes running out the door. Quick strafing and beautiful teamwork coming in there from the Drogons, sending the players from Not Gaming right back into the lobby. And so amped up, he is shooting at the box well after Jager had been taken out. Look at that, Dan. Yes, that is it. And now what I wanted to say a little bit earlier is once this engagement starts, right? G3 could be experiencing a little bit of lag.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, despite that, they're not doing all that badly at this point. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter for them. They're still well up on the top of that leaderboard. Of course, they would be wanting to go for those, you know, those points. You know, a little bit of bragging potential there.
No, you missed it completely, Patch.
What am I missing here? Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Okay, DK. You know, it's been so long since you've popped one of those. Like, I just forgot that even happens. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I've been looking forward to that happening, and then you sort of disappointed me, and I was like, oh, I guess we're never gonna get another one of those again. You know, he's gotten too serious for the game. You know, and I had a bit of a cry. I cry a little bit inside. You know, my heart broke, and then you just drop a bomb on me like that. Come on.
Well,
no warning.
I gotta keep you on your toes, my man. I gotta keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? There we go. we got it. You got me. You got me. So, all right. Well, yeah, we've had a little bit of engagement coming out from some of these teams here and there. That was a tough fight for the Drogons, but coming out on top of that one for them is actually quite big because they placed pretty well in that previous game. So, I mean, they're just, you know, building up some of those points, keeping themselves up towards the top, making sure they stay very well away from that relegation zone. And I don't really think any of these teams are in immediate danger. I think really it was a case of, are we going to see teams like Not Gaming stay above that line? Because they are hovering, you know, at that point at the moment. And they're very close to potentially being overtaken. But the question that we posed right back at the beginning was, do the teams down that relegation zone have that drive, have the potential to get out of there? So far, you know, it's not really a task that seems like it can be done. I mean, with teams like Zero Tolerance Skills taking most of the kills in a single game, what else is there? What do you do? Do you go for placements? Do you try and play safe? You know, like how do you play this from the bottom like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a tough one. Of course, you know, both these groups, B and C, they've got 2 more days of gameplay. All right, so C is up again tomorrow, and B is back again on Sunday. So whatever they don't get right today, they have, you know, kind of that buffer to make it up in each of their remaining days that they've got left. Right. So, but one thing that I'm quite curious to see though is, if the teams sitting at the bottom of that leaderboard, if they are able to find inspiration from what we're seeing the teams higher up on that leaderboard doing in today's games, right? We're seeing some really exceptional gameplay, some really good aggression, nothing really aggressive. We're seeing a lot of tactical aggression coming in, and I appreciate that so much. But now, I just hope that, you know, the teams a little bit lower down, like, kind of get inspired by that. Seeing that, you know, regardless of which day it is, you can still have that moment. Step up, just flick the switch, and go, as you said before, balls to the walls.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that is what we're hoping for. Of course, now you can get a little bit of a sneak peek of that map and having a look at seeing all the teams very comfortably inside that zone. Blue zone closing on up, and we've got the Drogons moving in towards the Immortalz as they try and get in across that line. Hopefully, we'll see a little bit of engagement there. The Drogons do find themselves on a bit of a back foot after that engagement that they just managed to come out on top of. So we'll see if they can manage against the Immortalz here, who are very much getting themselves across that line as well in a very similar position. The rest of the team's not in any real position to fight just yet, but that will be changing very soon as that zone does get a little bit smaller, moving up in towards that northwestern position. We've got Rainbow Six Madagascar looking in here towards the BBC team, seeing if they could spot anything out. BBC doing what they usually do off to the one side. We've got the Dragons, of course, making their way across this bridge. Immortalz not yet taking them down, but that might change if they decide to turn their crosshairs in this direction. So Drogons need to be quite careful here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty tricky season, but I mean, and I'm hoping for Drogons that the Immortals are not paying too much attention to the bridge, so they can get safe back. So far, it seems like a good run there for Tezuka, but of course now Dan comes across on the gets picked up by Now, of course, the Immortals, they have, you know, sniffed blood. They are now first for the action. They want those shots. They want the hits. Start searching and just, you know, clearing at the edge of the zone. As you can see, Python, of course, now frantically scanning the bridge. But I've also now seen Tezuka down in the water, taking a little bit of a swim, just having a bit of a chill, you know. It's like, it is pretty stressful, so why not for a bit of a swim, you know, when you've got the opportunity. You're safe in zone, relax, sack, hug, you know, just stay there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, let's head to the beach, let's catch a wave, take a swim. It's no pressure, you know, just take it easy. There's no reason to get all crazy, you know. People with their guns trying to kill each other. Man just wants to swim on the beach sometimes, you know. Go for a little bit of a alone time, a little bit of that rest and relaxation, that R&R. That's what he's going for at the moment.
It's the Drogon style.
Yeah,
it's the Drogon style, my man. That's what it is.
A little bit of backstroke.
It's the Drogon style. Like when in Sanhok, just go chill.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
hop in the water, relax. You know, let Nova focus on the rest of the players up ahead of you. You know, it's
exactly.
like because he looks a little bit on edge. He also needs to go jump in the water. Hopefully. You know,
I think actually
a little bit of that. But
we need all these teams to just jump into a really big sauna or like a hot tub together and just talk it out. You know, just talk it out. Talk out their problems.
Leave the mollies at home.
Yeah. Yeah, leave the mollies at home.
Yeah, well, of course, now we see the natural killers. Sela just getting down and dirty in the grass, wearing his signature outfit. He's probably had that outfit for, I don't know, maybe going on 2 years. It's been a very, very long time. But every time I see Sela, that is exactly the outfit that he is wearing. I mean, I don't think Sela in any outfit other than that one. So, yeah, if you want to talk about commitment, Sela is very committed to that particular outfit. But of course, we got a few fights, just a little bit off in the way there. It's G3. Ooh. Come pushing on in towards the players here now from Influence Rage, sending those hits in, sending the shots on over. A nice little bit of show of aggression, but of course now G3, quick retaliate on that. Of course, 14 teams in the match, 47 players now remain as we see the players here from Influence Rage getting sent back into the lobby. And of course, one of the first teams to be sent back on this particular map. Now, of course, Natural Killers up ahead there of the G3 team. Let's see whether or not they'll be able to find that. Osiris, Sela, and Co. all just chilling, waiting for that positional play. And hopefully, I mean, hopefully it benefits them.
Yeah, leave it to G3 to be able to micromanage that fight right there. Like running straight up into a team that's by some houses, managing to take them and fight them as well as fighting the Natural Killers up on a hill. Yeah, you know, that's pretty good. G3 maybe trying to get themselves back on there, especially after Zero Tolerance putting in such an impressive amount of points there. They want to compete a little bit, get some points of their own. We'll see if they can make it happen. Still got 14 teams out here, 47 players on this map at the moment, and we all know what happens at this point in time. 3 zones deep. We're going to be running out of space pretty soon. These teams are going to have to fight it out. They're going to have to battle for that space. There's going to be no saunas. There's going to be no hot tubs. No talking it out. The Molotovs will definitely be coming out. They'll be tossed this way and that, of course. We're just waiting for that, that line to break, waiting for teams to get to that point. So let's have a look and see. We've got Nibble on the screen at the moment. A team very much desperately in need of some points, desperately in need of something that's going to help them claw their way up and out of that relegation zone, with their 3 players here not able to even have a full squad due to some unfortunate technicalities when signing up. So yeah, it's tough all around for them, but if they can make it happen, this is the time to do it. We've got lag setting up here in towards the compound, just waiting for them to potentially go past or maybe to find some shots in their direction. It's going to be spotted out. We'll see if they get taken on those shots. In the meantime, we do have a couple of exchanges here. Nibble in a bit of a tough spot. Rainbow Six Madagascar off in the distance is going to get hammered by G3. There goes Shoto, so that's the first one down. We'll see if G3 can pick up any more. Will this fight explode or will it be disengaged? Madagascar actually just going to retreat for the time being.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, of course. You know, this is a good position for lag. As you can see, we've got the players here from Nibble just up ahead, just finding their way up on the hill. But they are also setting themselves up. Speaking about a setup, Tigress waiting to pounce up on the rock, exactly like a Tigress would. You know, just at the top, not the exact colors, but it's close. And of course, BBC just down below, just waiting to see what's going to be happening. And of course, we see the natural killers just behind them, also moving up. But I'm liking this positional play coming in here from Cartel. I mean, we got Lala and True also just holding those off angles, really good. And now I'm hopeful that it would be beneficial for them, that it actually pays off and those shots come on through and they are able to pick up those kills. As you can see, Nihal now quickly just trying to recover a little bit of health there, but the natural killers coming in from the north, so things could really start heating up. As you can see already, the Comfy Cartel, they're sitting quite cozily there on the rocks, just waiting and picking away at the players from BBC.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a tough spot here, BBC, up in this compound. A little bit of getting picked off here and there. Some shots coming through from that Comfy Cartel, who do have a little bit of an advantage here. In fact, they've got that height, and they've also got a little bit of a split going through there for their players. So, yeah, definitely is going to be a difficult position. But if they can make it happen, it'll be quite good for them. The shots coming through for Luck, trying to put down the rest of the natural killers who are pressuring them from the other side. Very difficult situation here that BBC do find themselves in. At least they have some cover, but how long is it going to last? If they do peek out, it's going to be a tough one for them to manage. Of course, natural killers still probing, looking to see if they can find any of those shots in at the time being. Comfy Cartel on the other side. The blue zone, of course, moving through, and there comes the shots from G3. So right in the back there, Osiris goes down in the meantime as well. The shots coming through from all sides. Comfy Cartel need to get their rotations up. That blue zone looking a bit tough here. 4 zones deep now. It's going to be doing a pretty decent amount of damage here. Teams not going to want to get themselves caught inside. BBC on the edge, going to have to make their rotate along with the rest of these teams who are all out of the zone at present. They do have a little bit of time, but 40 seconds is all it is. They got 20 seconds to decide where they want to go and another 20 to make it happen. Out they come, BBC, of course, now pushing through. They're going to have to make that rotation happen. They know where their enemies are, but can they move around before that zone closes is the question. Influence Rage getting taken down there by Zero Tolerance skills. We're trying to pick up a few more of those kills. Cartel, actually, Comfy Cartel deciding rather to rotate around through that blue zone than actually tempt the fates here with the likes of BBC, the natural killers, off in the distance. Up comes for Lucky, putting the shots in as they have to make their rotation happen right now. Putting the pressure on Sella, gets taken down. Nihal in the meantime also gonna get hit. So halting their rotation just a little bit. Might just have the upper hand here. Down goes Lord. That's a big problem. BBC now find themselves in a really tough spot for Luck getting the res in, but so is Shroud. Natural killers finding themselves back up to full strength, and BBC trying to make that rotate. This might be the end of them as they try and make their way across. Indeed, no cover means no life. Down they go one by one. We'll find some retaliation as Shroud goes down. It's BBC fighting for their lives here, fighting for the chance to cross over. Stella very low on HP, but not going to find that last kill needed. Nihal just waiting on the back, but up comes that blue zone, making things even more difficult for BBC, who are finding themselves struggling to make that rotation happen. The natural killers just not letting them do it. The Comfy Cartel also doing what they do. There's True putting some shots in right from the back, being a nuisance in the back line. G3 also getting taken by the Immortalz. So the fights are absolutely happening here as everyone is trying to get across that zone. And natural killers there are just gatekeeping right now. There is no getting past them at this point in time, but Gun also doing their due diligence, getting those third-party shots in. What a tough spot. Of course, BBC losing their members Law, the last one remaining for them, very low on HP, and not many options to choose from. Might just be the end of BBC right here, right now. Gun actually getting taken now by Toxic. Nerf not expecting those shots there. The natural killers still doing that gatekeeping. Of course, they do have to retreat away from that blue, so for the time being, Law doesn't have any pressure from that direction. Here comes Pain, up right onto the top. Nibble not feeling good about that at all. Up come Pain and putting the Pain in. Can Nibble stay alive is the question. They are struggling to get points. What a tough time for them, managing to find Kingdom, and he goes down. The Beast now moving up to try and find those last 2 shots in. So much damage, but they do go down in the end. Nibble clinging to life for the time being.
That was an absolutely beautiful play coming in there from Ronnie. I mean, just disengaging from that race at exactly the right moment to step on, engage his beast mode, and take on Beast to beat him in that gunfight. Absolutely amazing stuff. But of course, now Bounds is bouncing in on the players here from Toxic. As you can see, Bounds and Short Boy Slim being the 2 remaining players now for the gun team, as Nerf and Go's already been taken on out. But down goes Vegeta. Reki, feeling the pressures. The shots come on through. This is a really tough position for the players here from Toxic, as Vegeta also now gets sent on over. Gun, of course, still holding their own. But to get back to what you were saying about BBC, you know, BBC looked a little bit depleted there, Patchy, and I figured out why. It's because they were fighting in the quarry, right? They are used to clean water, which we usually have along the exterior of the map. You know, usually the coastlines, the water in the quarry is just too dirty. That's why they couldn't really get their flow going, and also there's no boats. But now, Ronnie is just stepping on into zero tolerance. He's now showing zero tolerance to their rotations, putting in those shots. And so far, Nibble is really holding their own in this match here.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of a 3-man squad, you know, due to the technicalities they had in signing up, not being able to bring their full squad, they are putting in the work here to try and get those points. And as I said, desperately needed points for them, and they are staying alive, clinging to life bit by bit. They are a little bit split up, but the regroup is coming through. So many teams in the surrounding area. I mean, look at that. That's so much pressure to try and have to deal with. In the meantime, Buden going to lose his life as more pressure comes through. Zero tolerance skills, though, looking to end this man's whole career is what they're looking here. Skido coming up, looking for Nibble, looking to get some kills on the hunt. Can Nibble handle the pressure? Can they put the hits on? For some reason, Vindog just going to look in the completely opposite direction, not going to take the fight. That was a huge mistake coming through. Now Ronnie, everything is on him, and I'm not sure if he can make it happen. So many shots coming through. Up comes Vortex, though, to finish it off, and indeed, it cannot make it happen. I mean, that was so close. Got 2 knocks out of 3, but that's just too much pressure to put on one man who has to make everything happen. It is a tough time, but Nibble will go down. 5 teams remaining. Immortalz putting some shots in, taking G3, run for their money, of course. Ronnie getting taken down in that meantime. Zero tolerance skills getting hit by Madagascar off in the distance there. Now the rotations have to come through. That blue zone looking tough as per usual. Comfy Cartel still alive in this one. Their rotation managing to save them in the meantime. Immortalz on the other side of their crosshair, looking to see if they can put some shots in, but these teams have to make a move. These teams have to get rotated, because 6 zones deep, you do not want to be caught out in that blue zone at the moment. Lag getting hit there by the Immortalz. Cartel has to be careful. Those shots are coming through, and Immortalz are aiming true at the moment, but the shots coming through from the other side through third parties certainly becoming a bit of a problem to deal with. Rainbow Six putting them in. Umar goes down. Now it's Cartel just moving across, looking to potentially spy out any of those teams. Lag just up ahead of them, has to make that rotate happen. Immortalz now getting hammered by Madagascar. This might be the perfect time to take them over. The Immortalz moving up, pushing straight up there, actually, not even caring about this. Rainbow Six in a bit of a mess, kind of a setup here, trying to stay alive. Prime puts the shots in. They are absolutely making it work, but of course everyone pushing themselves forward over that line. It's going to be difficult. Not a lot of cover except for the rocks and the trees. Otherwise, it is free game, fair game. The Comfy Cartel putting some shots in. Rainbow Six hitting, or getting hit, should I say. Lag, look at those HPs going down. Fantasy getting knocked, as well as the rest of his teammates. Look at the HP. Lag super low. The shots just coming in. There's no cover, as I said. Such a difficult time, such a difficult position to be in for these teams. In fact, the Comfy Cartel probably looking the best out of all these stragglers right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is... They're looking pretty comfy. I mean, they're still moving in. All the players there on good health bars, and of course the shots flying on through as we see the players from Lag getting sent on over in towards the lobby. The 3 final teams left to fight it out for that chicken dinner. Of course, we can see it is the players coming in from Cartel. It is the Lone Ranger coming in there from the Immortalz. And then, of course, just over on the opposite end, remaining hopefuls coming in for the players there from both 6 Madagascar, but of course course, True feeling a little bit of pressure as the shots find their way on through. Python now getting caught in the long grass. That is exactly where you would expect to find one. And of course now, Rainbow Six Madagascar, they're reacting very swiftly to that. Python also now just managing to stay in behind some cover. Now let's see, will he be able to move out and get the necessary shot into place? Lala taking a beautiful hit in the process. Tigress now being the last remaining hopeful. Some prime real shots coming in, and of course Cartel gets picked up, and what a play! Python clutches it out, steals the chicken dinner. He was snaking his way in. That is why it's got Python in his name. But absolutely phenomenal performance there from the Immortalz, and Python with a 5-kill game, finishing off on 7. Of course, Rainbow in second place there, finishing off with 11 kills. Comfy Cartel looking quite comfy in third place on 5 kills.
Yeah, well, you know what they say, DK, snake it till you make it. Python took that a little bit literally there. And yeah, well, look at that. They made it. Immortalz that first place. Nice and Spice. Yeah, definitely not the teams I expected to make it up, but I mean, that is traditionally what we see on maps, specifically this one here. Yeah, Sanhok,
Well,
it's just another kind of map, man.
To point something out, the last time we had these same groups in this lobby on this, all right, Immortalz won as well. They got the chicken dinner, and we saw Comfy Cartel taking third place as well. So no surprise really to see that extra little bit of a consistency coming in there. But of course, man, that was an insane match.
I thought so as well. It was absolutely riveting. And for me, the best part of it is seeing teams that are really struggling to get points get those points. This leaderboard, the overall leaderboard, is going to look crazy. Let's take a look at what the leaderboard looks like now for today's games.
Yeah, let's take a look. Of course, Rainbow Six Madagascar sitting up there despite the 12 placement points, the 11 kills coming in for them, 23 points there. Immortalz, 15 placements, 7 kills, giving them 22 in second place. The Comfy Cartel, as you said, picking up the third place with 15 points there. Zero Tolerance Skills coming in 4th with 13, Lag Esports in 5th with 8, as well as Nibble with 8 points in 6th place. Gun coming in 7 with 7, G3 and 8th place with 6 points. So yeah, the teams at the bottom there of this first page, not performing up to the top. But yeah, this seems to be, as DK pointed out, a little bit standard for Sanhok. Drogons taking up 9th position with 5. Natural Killers with 4 in 10th. Toxic Esport in 11th with 3. Not Gaming in 12 with 2. BBC and Pain with 1 point each in 13 and 14 respectively. And the Influence Rage coming back with nothing.
Whew. It is tough. It is tough. And of course, our MVP is from Gun. I don't even know how to say that. Shirt by Slim.
Yeah, it just otherwise the name doesn't fit in, so he just left out all the vowels, you know. So yeah, that is of course.
Oh, Short Boy Slim.
Slim
Okay,
there
I get it.
Gun.
With 6 kills. Short Boy Slim with 6 kills. MVP of the match on Sanhok. And gentlemen, like I said before, this is the action that is the Umzansi Esports League, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming's PUBG Mobile action. We have one more map to go, and then the overall leaderboard will be updated, and we will see who's going where and who's nowhere. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dr. Sid, Patchy, and DK, and we will see you after this break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Umzansi Esports League, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. This is the PUBG Mobile Tournament. We have seen a lot of action coming out of Sandhawk and Erangel, but up next is the amazing map of Miramar. But I'm here, Dr. Sid, but I'm not alone. I'm here with two amazing gentlemen who are going to talk you through all the action coming out of the PUBG tournament, and that's DK and Patchy. Gentlemen, we have had some amazing action, but I'm looking forward to this new map. What do we expect to see on Miramar, judging by the first two maps that we have seen? DK, tell us about it.
Well, first things I was waiting for in the left corner. We've got, I was waiting for that part to come. Like, that would have been the cherry on right there. I would probably have broken out in tears, I gotta say, though. But I mean, moving up in towards Miramar. All right, we're expecting a few things. Of course, looking at the standings we had in the previous game. Game 5, we saw the players there from Rainbow Madagascar come in strong with 11 kills and 23 points in total. The Immortalz, of course, taking that second place with 22 points and 7 kills. Comfy Cartel finishing up in third place then on 15 points, 5 kills. Zero Tolerance in fourth on 7 kills, 13 total. Lag Esports, of course, coming in to fifth there with 8 points only, getting placement points. Nibble Esports, of course, finishing up in 6th place on 8 points as well. We've got Gun finishing up in 7th on 7 points again with the 7s there. Of course, then the players from G3 Temper finishing up in 8th place there on 6 points. But what's interesting to look at, though, is we had the players from the Immortalz getting moved down to 2nd place. The top spot was actually stolen away by some kills coming in there. So really impressive stuff. But of course, the second page is where the points start to dwindle a little bit. We've got the Drogons sitting over in 9th place on 5 points, but managing to bring in 4 kills. The Natural Killers, of course, in 10th with 4 points in total. We got Toxic in 11th on 3. We got Not Gaming in 12th there on 2. And then, of course, BBC and Pain Africa sitting in 13th and 14th place on 1 point apiece. And Influence Rage, of course, being the first team getting sent back into the lobby. So it was definitely a pretty tough match. But of course, no surprise really if we look at what we saw previously on Sanok. So now I think moving forward on Miramar, looking into what we saw on game 3 when they were last on Miramar, things could be particularly interesting, right? We had the players from G3 finishing off on 15 kills. Gun, of course, finishing off on 12 kills. So a super aggressive match from them. So there is that potential for that momentum, of course, to come back in again and continue on as we move in towards Miramar.
And these two teams, Gun and G3, are at the top of the leaderboard and technically safe to make it into the next round. So they can afford to really go at it and bring in these points. But some teams, like Influence Rage, need to come out at this point in time, because this is the time where they say put up or shut up. You go hard or go home, because after this weekend, we are moving in to the next phase. And if you don't come hard this weekend, it's all over for you. Patchy, what do some of these guys need to do today to ensure that they make that cutoff mark on the overall leaderboard?
So, I mean, right now, that's a question of the teams that are hovering around the bottom, below that 24 line, below that cutoff line. To get above, I think it's a really difficult task, because the amount of freedom that is now afforded to the teams that are safe makes them play a little bit differently. It means they can maybe relax a little bit more. They can be a little bit different in terms of their play style, in terms of what they can get away with. So I think it becomes a lot more difficult for them to happen, or for them to make it happen, should I say. I think if they really want to get across that line, I think there's going to have to be a lot of focus. There has to be really good, clean, and safe gameplay. They're going to have to try and make those placement points absolutely happen. I mean, if you can make it into the top 3, top 5, maybe, you could be able to squeak out a little bit of a safety and get yourself out of that relegation zone.
At this point, I'm going to be squeaking out of this chat and leave everyone in the capable hands of Patchy and DK talking you through all the actions. My name is Dr. Sid, and I'll see you after the game.
All right. Okay, it is game number 3 for this evening's matches. It is Miramar, and we do not have any corners here. But, well, in the left corner is the start of the zone, and in the right corner is the end of the zone. So, or the flight path, should I say. So there it is. Drop it in the teams. We have seen a little bit of a different style coming up from BBC here and there. I'm interested to see if they keep that up. They do have the leeway to try out new things at this point in time, so definitely not unexpected for that to happen. And of course, as we move in towards the end of the round, it becomes a little bit more, as I said, a little bit more freedom for those teams who are safe, and a little bit more tough for the teams that are not. Nibble trying to put those points in to get themselves out of relegation. But I mean, they've got a long way to go, really. I mean, at this point, it is so tough. They need at least, I think, they need to pull what we saw in the first game by zero tolerance skills. And I mean, that's just, they need to pull some chickens, they need to pull some serious kills, and they need to really try and get themselves out of there. Otherwise, it's back to the drawing board. I think it's not too bad for them. I saw we did have some people in the chat asking about why Nibble is on 3 players. I did mention that earlier, that they did have a little bit of problem in terms of signing all their players up. So they had some technical problems there, and they weren't able to get all of their members on. And that's why they're only sitting with 3 players every game. That's just an unfortunate situation for them. So they're going to have to head back in and try again the next time around. For the time being, though, of course, on your screen, we've got the teams that are currently in this match. And of them, we've seen some pretty heavy hitters just, tussling around a little bit, trying to find some things here and there. Zero Tolerance really going for it, getting some serious kills in the first match. And now, of course, it's Miramar. This is where we see G3 shine the most. Are they going to make it happen, though? I'm not sure. At this point, it's not the most important thing to, bring the points in. I think this could actually even be the time where the teams decide to try a new strategy out and see how they work.
Well, yeah, definitely it could be a good point to try out the strats. But, I mean, one particular spot on the map, not really to try out new strats at the current moment, is, of course, right here in Picardo. I mean, Beast right here alongside 2 other teams. So it is going to be a pretty hairy position to play. As you can see, of course, we got the players there from Rainbow Six, Madagascar, not too far away either. Kingman trying to make that play, but of course falling off of the side of the roof, not managing to find that holding, that handhold slot right there. But of course, no. Shuto, how did you say that was? Shoto. All right, Shoto going to show us now what they can do with that Uzi. And of course, Lag once again right here up in the blue bottom, just keeping a very watchful eye, just waiting. And of course, potentially we could see them being the enforcers, punishing anyone for moving out too early. So it is going to be a pretty hot and heat fight if teams get into these engagements, and of course those third parties start opening up. So definitely an interesting point to be looking at. But of course, now we just wait to see who's going to be the first team to budge? Who's going to be the first one to start the snowball effect? Who's going to be the one to kick off the fight over in towards Picardo?
Yeah, that is definitely the question. And we do have some teams quite close in proximity that could make it happen. We've got some good angles here. I mean, this is quite a hot spot right here. It seems these teams have just decided to land here and put up their first engagement potentially. Of course, Pain is on the one side. We've got Rainbow Six, Madagascar, and Lag quite close to one another. We'll see if they start the fights. Right now, of course, just looting, getting themselves set up, getting ready for the game. I'm interested to see if we see any of those kills become very, very important. They happen. It happens sometimes, they're like sitting in towards the middle of the zone. It becomes really, really important to control that hill if you want to get the surrounding area on lock. G3 like to do it, as they have shown us time and time again. We'll see if any teams step up and try the same thing. For the time being, though, we are just going to wait and see what we can see. Kingman looking for a little bit of a juicy shot there from the top of that warehouse, seeing if he can spot out any cheeky players out in the distance. So far, not found anything just yet. But I'm sure the opportunities will present themselves. This is Miramar. We do see those long ranges coming very, very soon, very quickly, especially when the rotations start to come through as well. You can catch people right out in the open, put some shots in towards their direction. So we'll see. Anywhere else on the map, I'm not sure if we've actually got anywhere else on the map where there are pressurized zones like this one. But if there are, we shall soon see.
Well, I mean, El Pozo is definitely another potential spot, you know, because we had BBC and Natural Killers moving into that position. Of course, you can see now the Immortalz have rotated up in towards there, but also now the Drogons going potentially toe-to-toe with the players there from G3. So I'm definitely expecting a few engagements to be breaking out just based on what we've seen in the past 2 matches. We can also see the players there from Not Gaming right up there in towards El Pozo, right there in that mix. So, yeah, hopefully things will go, you know, pretty interestingly that side. But of course, still over in towards Picado. The 3 teams patiently waiting. A lot of trigger discipline coming in here. But now we look to see, again, still who's going to be the one to get this party underway. Because, I mean, for either of these teams, there is a potential 8 kills to be taken here.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, if one of these teams decides to really pull the trigger, and I'm thinking Pain could be the one to do it, but if any one of these teams decides to make it happen, they could potentially just pick up quite a considerable amount of points right here in the beginning of the game. Now, they haven't decided to push just yet. No one has taken the chance. And they're all looking to wait for that right moment or make the smart decision, which on the one hand is a little bit sad. You know, we want to see a little bit of those crazy things coming in, a little bit crazy aggression coming through, some caution thrown to the wind, as Dr. Sid is fond of saying. That's what I do like to see. But of course, it's not always what we're going to be getting, and the teams are just deciding to play a little bit slow, a little bit more calculated. We'll see how that works out for them at the time being. We also have a couple of teams in close proximity. Got the Natural Killers and Not Gaming relatively close. Maybe we'll see some fights breaking out here. But for the time being, looks like looks like things are just playing out a little bit slowly.
Yeah. See, now this is that was beautifully done, Patchy. Well done. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. So heartwarming to hear. You know, like I've heard of you know, pausing for dramatic, but that was like something else. That was like next level stuff. A slight hiccup. You know, that's all that it was.
It happens sometimes. What can I say? Sometimes the air just goes the wrong way, man. You know, like I'm talking so much and then the air is coming out, and then sometimes the air is like, yeah, what happens if we switch directions real quick? You know, we'll just switch it up and go in instead of out. It happens. Thanks for laughing at me, man. That's really great.
I couldn't resist. It's like, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just a slight hiccup. But of course, well, I mean, as we gotta see now I feel like Dr. said that there was the short boy Slim. Is that and I don't know how to even pronounce the name there of that lag player. YMVNN. You good for these things, Patchy?
Yeah, let's go for Imvin.
I'll just call him AWAM. AWAM is much easier. Alright, AWAM up in the dumpster. They're just lying in wait, just chilling. I don't know if AWAM's maybe you got an AFK or something. I mean, it's AWAM until we find a better way of pronouncing a really complex set of, you know, a really complex configuration of letters there. Because, I mean, there's even some, call it calligraphy in there. So I know it's like, probably, it's some oriental things there. I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to try and figure that out. I'll leave it to a later day. That's just gonna blow my mind up, I guess. But I'm looking to see, though, over towards El Pozo, right? Just looking at that absolute hornet's nest we've got there. I mean, we've got BBC, we've got G3, we've got Not Gaming, we've got the players from the Natural Killers. We see Sully and Co. also moving into that position. It is going to be absolutely crazy. I mean, we were talking about, you know, like you said before, like when it breaks, it breaks. But this one is not going to break. This is going to like rip something and new something, right? This is one of those positional plays, right? So with Influence Rage just up ahead, if this fight breaks out, sheer number of teams we have here, and of course, looking at the teams that we have here, this could be a brutal fight for a lot of these players. But of course, now Osiris quickly stepping up, just you know, trying to ward off the players from Influence Rage. As you can see, Mercury, who we know is poisonous if ingested. Of course, now just off in the distance there. Hensley trying to make a little bit of rotation. Sleepy looking pretty awake, but also Mercury right there on point, just managing to beat Osiris to the reload, finding that spot in towards that little shack there. And of course, that is going to be a really difficult one to get out of. So I'm really looking to see exactly what is going to happen. Of course, Picado, we still have the players here from Pain and Rainbow Six just holding up. But now they've closed the gap. As you can see, Kingerman now just hiding behind the vehicle, quickly rotating up. Oh, the shots flying through. The player's name that I'm struggling with right there in it. Stepping up into the mix. Kingerman gets picked on up as well. And of course, now the players here from Pain are reduced down to 2. El Chapo and the Beast up ahead. Let's see now, will they be able to make that play? Hanad also just up on a little bit of a higher ground positioning. Of course, the blue zone is starting to move on in. We are at the end of our second phase as the blue zone now moves up. So the damage has gone up ever so slightly. Nothing too major just yet. But now also looking over towards the players, it is going to be a pretty tough one. Because all of them are so reluctant to rotate. But also, if they get up and move, they are going to get shot at. So it's a really difficult play to make here. I mean, are you going to try and outrun the shots that could potentially find their way up to you? Or are you just going to take there and, you know, just sit there and take the punishment?
That is the question. We'll see what the answer is. Pain getting put down at the moment, one by one. Getting shot from the front, getting blue zone from the back. Some nades getting pulled by El Chapo here, but are they going to land is the question. Everyone's in a bit of a difficult spot here with that blue zone taking away at the damage, and Kirin just going to find those shots in. El Chapo, no chance there, and up comes the shots, up comes the thirst, and well, there goes another kill for Rainbow Six Madagascar. But how long will this last? Sitting in this shack right here with the blue zone taking away at your health. Roshi trying to put some mini 14 damage in across towards a gun, who have decided to drive up some mountains. G3 putting some mollies across towards the comfy Cartel and making them very uncomfy, setting them on fire and burning them into the ground. Beating getting taken down as Lala puts some serious shots in. Flegger goes down as well. Lag, of course, getting taken by that blue zone. Not a very good position for them to be in. Pain also feeling the same fate. Buden takes down Tigress, and Lala finally getting taken down by Gunner. G3 ceasing their assault in that particular direction is going to mean that they will survive for the time being. Those HP bars just keeping them alive barely for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, it is proving to be a pretty challenging zone. Of course, that is what we were expecting, looking at the sheer number of teams all positioned within this region. Of course, now looking over towards this western side of the zone itself. Again, it is looking pretty hairy, pretty tough. Of course, now Six God comes out there with his M24, just scoping in, looking to pick up some stragglers from Influence Rage, and BBC, of course, now battling it out, trying to gain control of this compound here. But Influence Rage now being reduced down to 2, and Six God coming in with a few sprays up on the hill, taking aim over towards BBC. Now let's see whether or not Six God will be able to land those hits, as he gets a few shots coming in now in return over from the players there of Influence Rage. So this is really a tricky spot to be fighting in, and they don't to have the best positional play right there out in the open, but they can still try and ride that ridge as they're going up against the players from BBC, who are positioned in a compound, so they do have a slight advantage there. But of course, G3 has the multi advantage and try and come in on an angle where BBC can't necessarily spot them. Just to add on to that, we have that extra additional layer of pressure, potential threat coming in from the players of Influence Rage, because Mercury and Sleepy, they are still there. They're just hanging around waiting to see. But of course, now also with the addition of, I believe that is the Immortalz. No, that is not Gaming. Coming in from the north, things are heating up over on this western end.
Yeah, they certainly are. And those shots are flying through. Influence Rage trying to stay alive. The res coming through. There's G3 looking to see if they can spot at any of the rest of those not gaming players. And of course, the BBC just ahead of them We'll see if they can make it happen. They don't have much cover, but if we know G3, they can make something happen here. BBC trying to take up the compound, keep themselves alive for the time being against the Influence Rage, as well as Not Gaming just up ahead. Toxic putting some shots in towards Not Gaming as well. Instant return shot from Zeus, though, going to put Unknown down for the time being. Lots of shots, as you said, heating up absolutely all over the place. Toxic under some serious fire now. Zeus just putting those long-range shots in, managing to get a little bit of damage done. Can he find the knock? There's the question. The answer is yes. Vegeta goes down. And now Toxic find themselves in a bit of a tough spot. The blue zone is moving up, and G3 tossing some nades in towards BBC, keeping the pressure on, keeping them on their toes. We'll see if they can survive, as they are getting spread out just a little bit here. G3 doing the isolate and destroy tactic. The Drogons getting hit by Rainbow Six Madagascar. Some Molotovs coming through from Not Gaming as they are pushing up in towards Toxic. As I said, Toxic in a bit of a tough spot now, as the pressure is well and truly on Not Gaming. So many angles that they are taking towards Toxic. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to handle this. Rainbow Six getting hit by Pounds. Gun there doing the damage as they do. We've still got 14 teams here, and we are 4 zones deep right now. I mean, that is just nuts. These teams just going absolutely ham now. Things are going to get super, super tough. Drogons putting some shots in towards Rainbow Six. They're getting taken down in return. Everyone's just going absolutely nuts. Not Gaming pushing up. G3 still continuing their assault towards BBC, who have not yet fallen just yet. G3 a little bit low on health here and there, but ultimately still keeping the pressure on towards the surrounding teams.
Yeah, this edge fighting is absolutely crucial. Of course, so many teams are going to try and potentially rotate in. As you can see, the players there from Not Gaming, Zeus, not Zeus. He's deciding, you know, let's just rush straight on in, just push straight on through. And of course, just hope and pray that we get up into a good spot. And of course, they managed to get out of the blue zone, but they're not out of the danger zone just yet, as there's still quite a few players up ahead of them. So it's going to be a definite tricky rotation for Not Gaming to pull off if they are looking to go straight forward in towards that zone. But of course, another risky rotation coming in just a little bit further down towards the south there, as we saw Mr. Raji pushing in to that hornet nest. And of course, now facing the consequences of that, getting knocked and thirsted almost immediately. But this is going to be a super interesting zone, as it's now centered up over towards this field, and a slight bit of the mountain is going to be pretty tough to defend. And of course, there's hardly any cover in this region, aside from a few hay bales stacked nicely together. So looking forward to see how the teams are going to try and move up into that. And of course, BBC now striking down on the team there from Influence Rage, sending them off in towards the lobby. But now we look to see how they are going to try and make the play from here. Falak running out of luck there as he gets knocked right on out. Of course, well, it is to Lord and Niho to make that play for BBC, as they are the 2 remaining players.
Yeah, indeed, it is tough all across the board. Lord trying to get himself juiced up for what will certainly be quite a tough play if he has to make a rotate. Gun, or sorry, G3 right up ahead of him. It's going to make things very, very difficult. And not much cover to utilize against them, and we know how precise G3 can be with their shots. Natural Killers putting it towards Immortalz. That mini 14 going ham as it does. Zero tolerance skills now chiming in finally in that kill feed, putting some kills on the board. Immortalz going down. The Dragons also getting hit there. Sorry, the Drogons there by Rainbow Six Madagascar. The blue zone has decided to shift on up as it does, moving in from 5 to 6. It's going to be very, very tough. Unknown getting taken down by an explosion. Of course, zero tolerance up on top of that mountain with a really good vantage point. They will have to rotate though. The Immortalz off into the side. Lord under some serious pressure. Can he fight though? Can he make it happen? The answer is no. He will get taken down. G3, as I said, not willing to let those stragglers survive. They will pick you off and take you down. That's exactly what they've done. Now moving all to the top of the hill to see if they can get some good vantage points up against some of these teams. Zero tolerance skills, seeing if they can Skyrim it up the mountain. The answer is no. Only G3 has such fantastic powers to get to the top of these mountains. But up they go. They will make their way up to the top of that to position themselves inside or just barely on the outside of the zone. They do have some good vantage points if they can make it to the top there. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, Nibble putting some grenades across towards the Not Gaming squad. The Immortalz putting some shots into some rotating teams, as that zone is nice and small. All the teams do have to make their rotate. The Immortalz now running to do so, but they are very careful. Of course, zero tolerance sitting on top of that mountain could potentially be a problem. Nibble, though, Ronnie putting some shots in towards Natural Killers, keeping the hopes and dreams of those players there from Nibble alive. We've got our top 10 teams, 24 players left as the Osiris gets taken down, and Roshi as well as Ronnie really doing some work here to try and put some kills on the board for Nibble.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was quite funny with Vortex. He got caught in his very own Vortex there. But now, speaking of which, here we go. Gun now applying a little bit of pressure on it to the side there of Zero Tolerance. As you can see, of course, Plaza just holding down over on the flat area here. The rest of the squad moving up onto the hill. But now, of course, Flacco is focusing his attention over towards AWAM just up ahead. But here we go. Gunner now also ready to welcome everyone in towards the zones. We are down to our final 9 teams. This is going to be a super, super interesting zone. Looking at where the players from Zeros are already positioned. A beautiful high ground advantage at that. And of course, now we will see if they will be able to capitalize on that. And although they definitely have their scopes trained down towards the players there from G3, but even the players there from the Rainbow Six team there, they also going to have quite a challenging time to get out of that spot just based on where the players there from Zero Tolerance are perched. So they're looking to bring in another aggressive showing like they have in the previous games. But here we go now, moving up into this. The blue zone is about to close in completely. Then we'll see where the next one is going to be going. Of course, the Immortalz in the meantime coming under quite a bit of pressure, but Python is going to have a really tough time here. There's no, so he can't snake his way up again. You know, he can't show us why he's called Python, because it's going to be super, super tough. He is out in the open. That the whole contrasting outfit is really breaking it up and making it so obvious as to where he is. So, of course, now, here we go. Short Boy Slim sending his mollies over towards the players there from the Natural Killers. And, of course, G3 just hanging back on the edge of the zone, trying to potentially gatekeep some of the players as they move up. And, of course, Rainbow Six get taken out in their prime as they rush right on in to zoning us down to the final 6 team. 18 players now remain. And of course, the players here from Zero Tolerance are getting their butts back up in towards that zone. Skydo looking to the sky to see where his teammate is. But in the meantime, Gun is pushing up in towards lag, experiencing 0 lag in the process, while making a really swift job on that assault. Now found and Nerf Me quickly trying to recover some health. They did take quite a bit of damage. Six God now just trying to add on towards that. And Immortalz now caught in a bit of a tough predicament as they now up on the hill. Python gets knocked out. Gunner is looking to get that confirmed. And of course now this is where things get pretty hairy. Blue zone is pushing in. There's only a few teams already positioned in zone, and they've got their attentions focused to the outside of the zone, where of course we see all of the remaining teams positioned to try and squeeze up in towards that zone. And of course with that, Nerf Me finishes it off right there for the players from the Immortalz. And now comes the big fight. This is where all 15 players, well 14 players now, are gonna go toe-to-toe, head-to-head, and of course those shots coming up, puts the hits up in towards Gunner. Nerf Me gets knocked out by Vortex. This is such a tough and spicy zone, but of course Zero Tolerance looking pretty comfortable down over in towards the Natural Killers. Now caught in a pretty tough one as well, but here we go. G3 steps up, puts the shots in, and helps send the team from Gunner back into the lobby. Only 4 now remain. This is such a hot one.
It is indeed. The shots coming in there. 3 teams remaining as G3 get taken out. Zero Tolerance Skills, Natural Killers, and I think that's Lag there. Yeah, Lag with 1 last player for them. We got 7 players alive. Let's see if Zero Tolerance Skills can squeak out another one here. I mean, they put some serious work in game number 1, and now as we find ourselves in game number 3, well, Zero Tolerance continuing to do some work. They've got some angles on here. Of course, Lag now. Our boy, Aimvin, he's out here. He's trying to put some shots in. Yeah, you know, just come up with better names. Just, yeah, I don't know, man. Anyway, they come and he gets taken out. I mean, that's it. You're not going to win that position. It's a G coming out from Zero Tolerance Skills, who do manage to pick up yet another chicken dinner, coming there with some spicy kills as well.
Yeah, they just yeeted themselves up into that top position. Of course, that positional play really working out phenomenally for them in these late few phases. Of course, well done in there with a nice 8 kills, of course, from Lag. coming in to second place with 2 kills. And of course, the Natural Killers with 3 kills in third place. And as we go down on that right-hand side, things are looking a little bit scarce there. I mean, this just shows you what a tough match this was. How difficult it was to find those points. Tezuka, of course, bringing in 3. Falak having good luck with 2 there. Law bringing in 1. And of course, we had Mercury coming in with 1 kill, as well as Kingerman being able to bring in that 1 kill for his team as well. So, yeah, a really, really tough showing on the Miramar map. Some really crazy positional plays. And I mean, even with the players there from Zero Tolerance up on the hill, that was a really good vantage point for them to take.
I saw them driving up that hill. I was a bit confused. I was like, what are they doing? But then getting that position was very key to winning that match. They had the high ground, always looking down on all the players with the ability to take people out from long range. That was just beautiful, fantastic play. Let us see what the updated or the score sheet after this last game looks like.
Yeah, so of course it is none other than Zero Tolerance Skills, of course, sitting at the top there in first place, 23 points. So they have gleaned quite a massive amount of points here today over these 3 games. G3 Temper coming in second place, 18 points. Lag Esports in third with 14. Natural Killers in fourth with 13. We've got Gun coming in 5 with 10 points. In 6th place, we've got Rainbow 6 Madagascar with 8. In 7th position, we've got Nibble with 7 points. 8 Immortalz with 5 points. So Nibble have managed to just put out a couple of points here. I'm not sure it's going to be enough for them, but at least they are showing that they can do at least a little bit of a something. 9th position, we've got BBC in 4 points, as well as the Drogons with 4 points in 10. We've got Not Gaming in 11 with 3, and Toxic Esport with 1 in 12, Pain with 1 in 13. We've got Influence Rage with 1 in 14, and the Comfy Cartel coming back with nothing in 15th position. So all around, it has been quite a game set today. Of course, it is going to be Ronnie actually picking up the MVP, and I definitely a hand for this guy who has just been putting those kills in this match. We saw him in that kill feed just going nuts. 5 kills to his name, really doing the most to try and show that Noble at least has not lost everything. Even though there are 3 players down, even though they are at the bottom, they can still make something happen.
Yes, and making something happen is what everyone is doing. As we look at the overall leaderboard, let us see the shifting sands. Oh my God, some teams have broken the 200 barrier. DK?
Yeah, the shifting sands of the Umzansi. Here we are. Gun just moving further up that 200 score, all the way up to 232. Of course, G3 coming into the second place, still hanging on there with 206 points. Zero Tolerance, of course, coming into third on 203 points. Then, of course, Slime 4KT still sitting in the same spot there in fourth on a 193. We got Undisputed AE in fifth on 141. Immortalz in sixth on 140. Sincerity in seventh on 136. Aphelion Apex, of course, sitting over in eighth place with 131 points. But, of course, they haven't brought in any chicken dinners yet, so that is a really good performance, good consistency coming in from them. Of course, Drogons, same thing, sitting in ninth place, 131 points. Also, no chicken dinners just yet, so really, really strong stuff. And of course, today's matches really helped them out on the positionings. Of course, Influence Rage currently sitting then in 10th place there on 127 points. Natural Killers in 11th on 125. NFxUNIQUE in the 12th place there on 123. Or as Patchy says, 123. BBC over in 13th place on 114 points. We've got Rainbow 6 Madagascar in 14th place on 110. The Euphoric Gods in 15 on 103. And of course, Lag Esports in 16th place, also sitting on 103. But 7 kills ahead of the players there from Euphoric Gods. So some really strong numbers coming in. But of course, as we move on to the next page, we've got Pain Africa sitting in 17th place on 101 points. Rain from Hell in 18th on 98 points. Comfy Cartel in 19th, 1 point behind them on 97. Of course, Ultra 6 still in 20th place there on 93 points. Fear in 21st on 92. The Outsiders in 22nd, sitting on 91. Young Thunder sitting in 23rd there on 90 points. Not Gaming in 24th place, of course, on 89. So this page is so close. Those numbers are so close together. That is literally 1 kill. Not even 1 game, 1 kill. And that we could see a change come in on this page. But of course, the next page is the page where the teams need to be really reconsidering their approach. They need to find that momentum. They need to find that switch, that trigger, the thing that's going to push them up into the game players. In 25th place, the players there from Spaza 6 sitting on 84 points. We got Black Clover in 26th place on 74. The Citizens Gaming in 27th on 71 points. We got Nibble Esports in 28th place sitting on 66 points, of course. Toxic Esports in 29th on 30. And Blank Legion still holding on to 30th there with 12 points. But I'm really impressed, though, with the improvement coming in from the Nibble team today. Yes, it is tough with 3 players, but either way, they still made the most out of that. And even though, you know, the numbers are not in their favor, they're still giving a good performance.
Yeah.
Well, performances is all we expect from these teams, as some people have shown that they definitely want to be in the next round. We still have more matches to come all weekend. Today is Friday, tomorrow Saturday and Sunday. We have the 2 remaining days in the PUBG Mobile tournament for the group stage before we move on to the next round. It has been super exciting and my pleasure. I want to thank the guys DK and Patchy for coming through with the amazing analysis and all the stats and information that keeps you guys entertained. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 brought to you by Nordwind Gaming. It's the PUBG Mobile segment, and we have come to the end of our broadcast today. But not to worry, we will be back tomorrow with more action. So if you are not following Northern Gaming on all our socials, you better do so now, because you want to know exactly when we go live so you don't miss any of the hot action. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Sid here with DK and Patchy, and we will see you guys for the rest of the show tomorrow.